Very good morning to you. It's the second last day of competition here in Lyon for the IPC Athletics World Championships. Jeremy Nicholas and Will Downing with you. First of all, the weather forecast. 34 degrees we're expecting today, but there's talk that it might reach into the 40s. And down at track level, it could be a problem for the athletes. So the first thing I have to tell you is that there might be a delay in the afternoon session, because they have a complicated formula based on temperature and humidity and whether there's a breeze to decide whether or not the games continue. They were very close yesterday to stopping competition, but it was all right. Today we do have a little bit of a breeze that might save us, but should it get up into the 40s, we may find that the athletics has to be delayed and put back further into the evening for it to cool down a little bit. Already the marathon for Sunday has been moved forward 3 hours because they think it's going to be too hot for the athletes. So there we are, 24 degrees at the moment, humidity 45%, 7 kilometers per hour is the wind speed, the wind direction from the northeast, and it's sunny as it has been every single day we've been here. So let's have a look at what's going to happen. To take us through it, my colleague Will Downing.
We've got 26 gold medals decided today, 6 in the morning session. And the men's 200 metres is a refixture from yesterday. That was originally won by the Finnish athlete Tony Piismanen, but he was one of 3 athletes forced out of the lane. Mohamed Barahal of Algeria was ultimately deemed to be responsible for that. He's been disqualified, originally finished second, and that race will be rerun at 9:40 Central European Time, 7:40 GMT. Again, lots of field finals, women's and men's shot put, and the women's discus also to bring us through the first half of the programme. There's also a men's high jump at T13 and a women's long jump as the afternoon progresses. But the important news regards that afternoon session. We're due to get underway at 3:30 p.m, 15:30 Central European Time, but that might be delayed maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours if it gets too hot. And we have been told, incidentally, they were very close, possibly 1 degree away from that happening yesterday. But we have all now today been given advance notice that there's a very strong situation that might happen. Lots of semi-final action as well across the likes of women's 400 meters. Take a quick look at the medal situation as well, because Russia won 2 in the morning session yesterday. United States and Brazil, well, they keep hooving them up, and there's a good chance they'll do the same again today because they have a number of sprints in the teens. Great Britain are picking up medals on the track and the field quite impressively, and Ukraine always have a very strong team here, and we saw that again yesterday with another wonderful victory in the long jump. So the crowd's just arriving here for the second last morning session. Tomorrow is the last day of track action because Sunday is marathons. They go out around Lyon and around this part of Paris in which the Stade de Rome is based. Now these, like the Paralympic Games last year, will not be televised. Realistically, too difficult to do so. And in those marathons on Sunday, there is a Mexican competing, by the way, in the men's 200 meters final coming up. And there's a very good audible cue for that. But Marcel Hoog has got a chance of going for his 5th gold medal and his 6th in all in the marathon on Sunday. And if Tatjana McFadden likes to go, she could be going for a 7th gold. She already has 5. And we've all been deliberating this morning. We reckon that has to be a new record.
So I've just had a word with Craig Spence from the IPC. He's going to join us in about 5 minutes' time and just run through exactly how they work out whether or not the athletics has to be delayed.
Now, this is a final that we saw yesterday, and it's, in the words of Lonnie Gordon, happening all over again. Men's 200 metres T51. Lane 3 is absent due to the disqualification of Mohamed Barahal of Algeria, who originally finished second in the first run, but was deemed to have caused a number of athletes to go out of their lane. So here we go again. In lane 1, it's Kevin Stokes of the USA. In lane 2 for Ireland, originally finished 6th yesterday from Dunmanway in County Cork, it's John McCarthy. Lane 4, the original winner and the man who was most affected, but he still won yesterday. 1 gold in the 100, bronze in this in 2012. It's Toni Pispinen of Finland. From Italy, finished 4th in the original race, and realistically the main reason why this race has been rerun. Won bronze in the 100 metres this week and bronze in 2004. Lane 6 from Great Britain. Great performer down through the years, Stephen Osborne. Lane 7 from Mexico. Gold medalist in this in 2012 in London and in Athens 2004. 3rd in the original race. It's Edgar Navarro. And in lane 8 from Germany, it's Stefan Strobel.
Those are the world records in this T51, 200 metres. Toni Pispinen of Finland.
Yes, Pispinen recovered very well from being balked yesterday, and he finished 1st, but they've decided, to be fair, we'll have a rerun. So it's Stokesson 1, McCarthy 2, Pispinen 4, Davidi 5, Osborne 6, Navarro 7, and Strobel is in lane 8, and they're away at the first time of asking with 7 in this starting lineup. Lane 4, well, the man to watch, because Pispinen won the original runoff here, but Navarro in lane 7 won this title in London and is certainly a live candidate as well. He in 7, he's moving up towards the front, and now it's Pispinen who's beginning to come into his own in lane 4. McCarthy trying to move up in 2 as well, but Pispinen in 4 has shot in front. Him and Navarro at the moment. Watch out for these two. Pispinen in 4, Navarro in 7. It's really tight between these two. Pispinen won yesterday. Can he win the runoff? I'm not sure he's going to. I think Navarro's going to do it. Navarro comes up. Navarro takes the gold medal. It's a championship record for Edgar Navarro, and it's a different result from yesterday. And that means a reversal in both of the rerun finals we've had. Edgar Navarro, who won in London, has won this. A championship record of 40.66 unofficially. Breaks his own championship record from Christchurch 2 years ago. He was the champion in this. Won in London, won in Athens way back in 2004. And Pispinen, who won the 100, looked to have completed the sprint double yesterday. But here came Navarro, who was just too strong for him today. 40.68 official, the time for the championship record, and Pispinen this time finishes in 2nd place. Well, that was a remarkable turnaround. It was a really strong start by Navarro. Pispinen in 4, Davidi in 5, just began to fade the Italian, but still rallied for a bronze medal, and Navarro just kept going. And this time, today, having finished 3rd in the original final, would not be denied, and he keeps his title. And Pispinen, well, there was no glance across, but there must have been an awareness in the corner of his eye that Navarro was ahead of him, and just the strength of the arms for the Mexican means they yield another medal here. It's a real turn-up for the books in terms of what happened yesterday, if not on form, because Navarro had won the last 2 major titles, and he's won this one. Gold for Mexico, championship record for Navarro. Pispinen 2nd, Davidi 3rd, Osborne 4th, McCarthy 5th.
And you've heard our friend from Mexico, Octavio, head of their delegation, booming out with delight. We'll see if we can get him up here to sing the Mexican anthem for us, because he's got a fantastic voice. We're joined quickly by Craig Spence from the IPC. Morning, Craig.
Good morning.
Can you just run through what has to happen for the athletics to be delayed if it gets too hot?
Yeah, we've seen the long range weather forecast for today, tomorrow and Sunday, and it's going to be extremely hot. Yesterday it was in the late 30s in the shade, and obviously the health and safety of our athletes is our paramount importance. So what we're doing today is getting regular weather updates every half hour, which checks not just temperature but also humidity, and if those 2 factors are too high, then then we may have to postpone competition until the temperature goes down. We are helped today because there is a breeze, which we didn't have yesterday, but what we're trying to do today, as you might see from the field there, the view we've got, There's a lot more tents out there, and what we're trying to do is provide as much shade as possible to keep the athletes cooler in the field.
So this is the shot putters where they'll rest between throws?
Absolutely, and you may see there's more medics out in the field today. They're there with ice. We're going through around 1 ton of ice a day at the moment, keeping the athletes cool. And obviously after seeing the forecast today, we're going to try and keep them cooler.
Now hold that thought. Women's shot put is the first of the field finals, F32, 33, 34, multi-category, so it's decided on points. A lot of javelin throwers are also involved in this. Gold in the javelin, actually the last 3 javelin championships in a row for Birgit Kober of Germany, who's, we'll call her a recently qualified Paralympian. Gold medal in this in 2011. She's the reigning world champion. This was not competed for at London 2012. We also have the silver medal from the javelin here, Marjana Heikkinen of Finland, and the bronze from the javelin from Germany, Brima Skrovovnik. We also have the likes of Yepchuk of Ukraine, Stamatula of Greece, who have medalled in this regularly in the past, and Louise Ellery of Australia as well. So there's a field of 17, it's a huge field. Thing is, Craig, you came very close, potentially, to having to bring the athletes off yesterday, really close.
Yeah, yesterday between 5 and 6, the temperature got up really high and there wasn't any breeze. And yeah, we did have a meeting to discuss what we did. But luckily, the programme played into our hands because a lot of the long distance races had been played out and it was all sprints. So the sprints are there's a quick turnaround for the athletes from the core room to compete into getting off the track. So we were saved yesterday by the programme. But as I say, our biggest priority is the health and safety of the athletes, and today we are going to be monitoring the situation closely. If we do need to postpone, it will only be for an hour or so until the temperature cools down. And
what sort of time of day is that when it gets really hot?
It's between the hours of 4 and 6. Yeah. And what we've also done is the marathon on Sunday wasn't due to start until 11:46. That's now a 7 o'clock start because Sunday is due to be the hottest day. It's due to be 44 degrees centigrade in the shade. Yesterday we were around the 45s, 50s on the track. And obviously that was why yesterday we saw so few world records, because it was starting to affect performance.
Women's discus throw F37 features the 3 times gold medalist in this event, the last 3 championships, Mina of China, who also has won the shot for the last 4 championships in a row, including this. Eva Berner, the Czech Republic, has 4 major medals. She was the silver in the shot here, and Shirley Coelho of Brazil won bronze in the shot. But there's one big difference, I guess, today, Craig, is that in advance you've actually gone public with this right from the morning, whereas yesterday was more a tip-off. Is it likelier to happen today, therefore?
The temperature is going to be higher today, but as I say, what may be our saving grace today is the breeze, which wasn't here yesterday to cool things down. So
there's not a temperature that you can say above that?
It's not a case that we say if it gets to this temperature, then we postpone competition. It's a combination of factors, so it's humidity, the wind direction, and obviously the temperature. So we are monitoring those closely today. I'm optimistic with this breeze that we won't have a postponement. Last night when we looked at the weather forecast, we were slightly nervous. We were a little more relaxed today. And obviously we'd love to get all the events through and competed, but at the end of the day, we want to see our athletes performing in a health and a safe environment, a healthy and safe environment. And we also want an environment where our athletes are going to break records, and if that means postponing competition for an hour or so, so be it.
At least we won't have this problem in Swansea for the European.
You never know. We always, when we plan for these tournaments, we always plan for postponements of competitions, and that's for things like torrential rain. No one had it in for absolute. This is the hottest. Lyon is in a state of emergency at the moment. Their government put it in yesterday due to the heat here. This is extraordinarily hot.
Is it really? I didn't know that. I thought I was just struggling as a bit of a Brit.
No, this is really out of the ordinary for Lyon.
It is the hottest summer in France, by the way, since 2003. Men's shot put F36 final. Sebastian Dietz won the discus here earlier this week. Vaginiopoulos of Greece won the silver. The reigning world champion in this is Paweł Piotrowski of Poland, who also won it in Athens in 2004. Won the discus gold also in 2011, was 4th in the discus here. This was not an event at London 2012. Mexican interest in this also with Roberto Setuch. But there are are 4 candidates in this who regularly medal in both the discus and the shot put. And we have it in the women's as well. There's a women's event later on today in which a lot of the athletes aren't just good at that, but they're good at the javelin as well.
So Craig has to leave us very shortly to go off and sort out the weather, try and work out how to build a roof or something over here to keep it cool. Just before you go, Craig, I just wanted to know your favourite moments so far of these championships.
I've probably got 2.
Oh, go on then.
Apologize. First one is the look Johnny Peacock gave Richard Brown when he crossed the finish line on Tuesday night. I mean, I don't think many photographers got the shot, but if looks could kill, that was certainly one of them. The other one was an emerging star, Sophie Hahn, a 16-year-old in the 100 metres. I think it was the T37 or T38 event against the Brazilian who was only 17. So that is a rivalry that will emerge and I think be one for the next 10 years. So those are the 2 favourite moments so far. It's been a great championships. I think we've all enjoyed every single minute.
Craig, thanks for inviting us to commentate on it. You have a good day. Go and put a hat on, or sun parasol or something. Yeah. So Craig's favourite moments, both featuring British athletes, so we'll forgive him for that as he is a Brit. And here's a Brit in action, Beverly Jones, first throw 26.93. All the finals this morning are in the field, apart from that rerun that we just had at the men's 200 metres with Mexico clinching the gold. We will have some track action, but it will all be heats and semi-finals.
Now this is Eva Berner of the Czech Republic, who regularly medals at major international championships. We're watching the women's discus here. Berner has won bronze in the shot at the last 3 Paralympic Games and won silver in this week. That is really her specialised event, as opposed to this. It's impressive for Eva. She was 18 years old when she first won a Paralympic Games shot in Athens, 2004. Good athlete. We now have semi-final action in the men's 400 metres. It's the T11. Quite a few of those who medalled in London not here for this, but it is a more packed program at the World Championships. So David Brown goes to the United States in lane 3. They all have guides, as you'll notice. Ananias Shikongo of Namibia is in 5, won silver in the 200 here this week, and bronze in this at the last World Championships 2 years ago. And Octavio Santos of Angola, another man we've seen a lot of this week. His guide is Nicolau Ernesto Palanza. He's the fastest in the field in terms of personal best. It's the winner who automatically qualifies. Daniel Silva does compete in this, but Lucas Prado does not. It's only the winner who automatically qualifies and the 2 fastest losers across both semis. So Brown of the USA in 3, alongside Roland Slade. Shikongo of Namibia 5, alongside Ivan Chivuvju. And Santos of Angola in 7, alongside Nicolau Ernesto Palanza. And a reminder that the athlete must cross the line first before the guide, and the guide cannot propel them across the line either. Brown, Shikongo and Santos. Away first time, good start by them all. It's actually a very good even field this, I must say. It's been a very even draw because in terms of personal best, they're all within 3/4 of a second of each other. Better start by Shikongo than the rest. His confidence will be up, having won the silver medal earlier in the week in the 200. Santos in lane 7 and Shikongo are the 2 who look in best form at the moment. David Brown of the USA needs to get into his running very fast. He did run his personal best this year, but he still needs a little bit of extra pace. Maybe it'll come when they even up for the final bend of the final straight. It's Shikongo in 5 in the middle, Santos in lane 7 on the left-hand side, and they're all even now. Brown has fought back very well, and Brown has kicked at the right time, and he's got this absolutely right. Brown is moving it on. He hasn't shaken off the rest yet. Santos has just fallen back into 3rd, and Shikongo is 2nd. David Brown won that. And for most of that race, he was absolutely out of it, but he timed it perfectly. He got that absolutely right, when it looked as if he got it absolutely wrong. It was a very good surge in the final, 60-70 metres. Very good tactics from the American, and he has to thank his guide a lot for there as well, Roland Slade. At one stage, Santos was well out in front, but he fell back. Quite disappointingly, from his point of view, led at one stage, and then Brown finally came good. He was well back at the crest of the final bend, but then Chikongo faded away. Brown came up, and Brown won very well. 52.60. Chikongo was second in a season's best all the same, and Santos, who featured very strongly, and you'll see at one stage Santos was in front, but by the finish, third and last. And the time for Santos would put them in a little bit of jeopardy potentially. No Brazilians in that. 52.60. And David Brown wins for the USA. Tactically very adept. Brown takes it, 52.60, Chikongo second, and Santos third.
First rendition of Star Wars of the morning. This is the championship record for Mina of China. Phenomenal thrower, competes in discus and shot put, and new championship record, 32.15. There she is. And let's have a look at this new championship record from Mina. The lady I always think reminds me of an ambulance. Mina, Mina, Mina. There she is, she's a great thrower, 32.15. Hi Mina, good morning, well done. You've got a new championship record. Every time there is a championship record or a world record, we hear the music from Star Wars in the stadium. And every time there's a medal ceremony, we have the music from Back to the Future. And when the crowd are being G'd up because there's a French competitor coming, we usually get the music from Queen's We Will Rock You. Let's have a little bit of a look at the shot put action. There's shot put at one end of the stadium and the discus is at the other. So Vagianopoulos of Greece moves with that throw up to second place, and that's a new personal best, 11.28. Got a men's 400 metres T11 second semi-final now. Just saw the first semi-final. Daniel Silva of Brazil up against Dustin Riley-Walsh of Canada and Timothy Adolphi of France. T11s, these are the completely blind runners, so they will each have a guide with them. The guide will be the man with the yellow bib on. The athletes will wear their colours. Excuse me, very dry in the stadium today. I thought I'd switch my microphone off before I coughed, but clearly I didn't because I heard it in my ears. I apologise to you for that. Just taken on board a little bit of water. Currently getting through a bottle of mineral water about every hour and a half at the moment. And today we're thinking it might reach 40 down at the track, and that's going to be very unpleasant for the athletes. Just a chance they might have to delay some of the competition. So let's just quickly come away from the track, because they're not quite ready for us by the look of it. And here's the new leader. Sebastian Dietz of Germany has now been overtaken by this man, Vladimir Sviridov of Russia, and he has equalled the world record with a throw of 14.70. It's his own world record from the 12th of May earlier this year, and he's just equalled it, 14.70. Just stay with us and see another throw. This is Norberto Zedush of Mexico. 11th man to throw. At the moment, the Russian leading with 14.70, equalling his world record. Ahead of Sebastian Dietz, 12.70. Vagianopoulos, 11.28, the personal best. Rafaev of Azerbaijan also with a personal best. So the top 4 have all thrown personal bests apart from one season's best, 10.86, and that will take the Mexican up to 4th in the table. So that's the way it stands at the moment. Mexican's actually just gone 4th ahead of the Greek though. So it's the second semi-final now in the 400 metres T11. This is Daniel Silva of Brazil in lane 3. Season's best 51.09, his personal best 49.82. He is the fastest man in the race. His guide is Wendell Souza. Wendell Souza applauds his man. Daniel Silva gives us the salute. This is Dustin Riley Walsh of Canada on the left. Season's best of 53, which is his personal best. A few Canadians in the crowd. Dylan Williamson will be his guide. And there'll be applause for this man, the Frenchman, Timothy Adolphe, and his guide, Cedric Philippe. So it's the first in each heat that goes through, and the next 2 fastest advance to the semi-final. Their target time 52.99. And that would be a new personal best for both Dustin Riley Walsh and Timothy Adolphe. This the most difficult of the sprints for the blind competitors, because 400 metres, 1 lap of the track, so they have to run 2 bends, which is the hard bit. The 100 metres obviously easy enough because it's in a straight line. So they're all, it's a false start. I was just about to say they're all away well, and they weren't all away well. So it'll take a while to get them back.
Now it's quite interesting because they'd gone maybe 20 metres before they were called back. Judges are having a look at the replays here as well, very closely.
There's a monitor inside that box. The reason I have it in a box is so that the light gets off it. And they all gather around and peer in. Lots of different opinions by the sound of it.
It didn't look as if anybody was obviously away early. Maybe in lane 5 they were just jigging about the blocks. Some massive voices.
Now, hopefully
there is a red card here, but all the cards are there, but he has the red card in particular chosen. Well, I must admit, even seeing the replay, I saw nothing.
I thought the Frenchman was very quick off the mark out in lane 7. But it's actually lane 5 he's going to, and
it is a red card. Well, that's unfortunate for Dustin Riley Walsh. It must have been movement on the blocks.
Do we start? Protest. Protest.
They are going to protest.
Run now. Protest. Margaret.
Well, with the naked eye, I saw nothing, and I'll be frank, on the replay, I saw nothing either.
So that's tough. They hold up the red card. Obviously, only the guide can see it. And then Dustin Riley Walsh, we heard him say, the Canadian, protest.
He wants to run, he contests.
Well, let's take a look at this again.
If the false start equipment, are you English-speaking Canadian?
Yes.
If the false start equipment is working, and it is a negative false start, you cannot run into protest.
That's what we're trying.
We have to go with the false start
We
equipment.
can have protest after, run now and protest.
No, the false start
This is our
equipment said-
understanding. That's the rules that we can run with protest and decide later.
Only if the false start equipment isn't working. The false start equipment is working. It's showing a negative 0.067.
Speak with my team manager and
Can we get somebody who will chat rules, because we were under the impression we could run a protest.
Under
I understand.
IPC rules.
But can we get somebody who knows the rules better than us? So that we
may
can
I ask
run
the
it?
team?
That is my job.
We'd like our team manager to.
Well, just look at lane 5. Look at lane 5. Was there a little push before? Negligible, I would have thought.
Kayla.
Obviously, it came up on the monitor. They're ultra sensitive, and for very good reason. Various officials will go off to speak to other officials.
Dustin Riley-Walsh not going to give up his place in the semi-final easily. Now, some of these competitors we see in lots of different events, but this is the first time we've seen this fella. That Scottish lady, she is head starter here. Must have special permission to carry her guns around the world.
Now they're still here and they're not moving for the time being.
Gentlemen, can you come off the track, please?
Well, they've decided against doing a John Drummond when he sat in the track in Paris and held up the 100 metres final for half an hour in the 2003 World Championships. They've decided to take their medicine for now. The achievement being noted on the big screen we'll tell you about after this race, which is now a 2-horse race.
Absolutely. So even I won't have any problems with identifications here. Silva of Brazil on the inside in lanes 3 and 4 with his guide Wendell Souza, and Timothy Adolphe of France with his guide Cedric Philippe. So the reaction time that they're allowed is 0.1 seconds. Anything quicker than that counts as a false start. I think they said the Canadians got 0.06, which suggests they were already decided to go before the gun, which is a bit daft, really. But very rough on the Canadians. And they may well protest, and maybe they'll be allowed to run their own heat on their own just as a time trial. But they've been asked to leave the track, and very graciously they have gone after their protest. So this time they're all away. Silva from Brazil on the inside, Adolphe from France on the outside. Silva from Brazil catching up, running very nicely with his guide, Wendell Souza. They've got a personal best of 49.82 so far this season, 51.09. And the Frenchman's going very well as well. Timothy Adolphe with Cedric Philippe coming up to the 200 metres mark to go. This is where the Brazilians will overtake now. And it's the yellow and green of Brazil. We've seen a lot of the green, yellow and blue of Brazil, and just keeps in his lane nicely there, and he's going to win it very comfortably indeed. Daniel Silva of Brazil. The Frenchman's going very well. It's a good run from him because he has a much slower time. And over the line, Silva of Brazil, he will qualify, and Adolphe of France finishing second. Dustin Riley-Walsh of Canada, if you're just joining us, disqualified for a false start. So a good run from the Brazilian. They're very good at this blind sprinting, the T11 class, particularly their women we saw yesterday doing so well. Guillermina. And I thought the Frenchman had run faster than was expected, and it's a personal best for Timothy Adolphe, 52.80, but Daniel Silva comfortably winning 51.69, and just confirmation that Dustin Riley-Walsh has been disqualified. Just to clarify the appeals process, they are allowed to appeal decisions. However, as we heard the Scottish starter explaining there, if the false start equipment is working properly, and it is, then there is no appeals against that, because that is an electronic system of measuring it, and its word is God. Daniel Silva qualifies, and Timothy Adolphi qualifies as well with the new personal best, 52.80. So this is the lineup for the final. Just, I think this is pretty much definite, but in case there is an appeal from Canada, Silva, Brown, Adolphi, and Shikongo will be the 4 in the final of the men's 400 metres T11 for blind competitors.
Now the intro music from Back to the Future to yield a medal ceremony. First of the day, men's shot put F11 from last night. The true big man. Great champion in this as always. It was a personal best in bronze for Sergei Mikhailov of Russia. 12 meters 68.
Terrific games for Russia, leading the medals table.
Silver for Ukraine. Another man who's having a good week, Vasil Shinsky. He threw 12.92. It's F11 for athletes who are totally blind. You can get a lot of power behind it, but you just launch it. It's very difficult to do a few rotations and then getting it out, because you need incredible spatial awareness for that. The gold, second of the week.
Representing Spain.
Winning one of the discus now, winning the shot put. For Spain, David Casinos Sierra, season's best, 13 meters 07. And he has done it again. A dual champion, games after games. And here he is again, enjoying superb glory.
Just an indication of how much warmer it is today. Earlier in the week with the medal ceremonies, people had jackets on, then long sleeve shirts, but now short sleeve shirts.
For the national anthem of Spain.
Mesdames et messieurs, merci de vous lever si vous le pouvez pour l'hymne national de l'Espagne.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world champion medalists.
Mesdames et messieurs, les médaillés mondiaux.
The anthem without words, but you recognize it a lot from football, from basketball, and now athletics. David Casinos Sierra. By the way, when the afternoon session gets underway, which at the moment is scheduled to be at 3:30, there will be a minute's silence in respect to those who lost their lives in the Spanish rail disaster. That session at the moment is still scheduled for 3:30, maybe moved due to atmospheric conditions, putting the temperature. The women's discus medal ceremony now for F35 and F36.
Mesdames et messieurs, cérémonie protocolaire du lancer du disque féminin F35-36.
And there was a world record in this.
Bronze medalist representing Australia.
And another
médaille de
marvelous champion.
Représentant l'Australie,
Catherine Proudfoot gets the bronze medal for Australia. 24.91 in this women's discus.
Silver medalist representing the People's Republic of China.
Médaille d'argent représentant la République populaire de Chine, King Vu.
Yet another medal for China in the throwing disciplines. We've seen Mina out on the field this morning, setting a new world record.
Gold medalist and world champion representing Ukraine.
Médaille d'or, championne du monde, représentant l'Ukraine, Maria Pomazan.
And Maria Pozman of the Ukraine keeps up the pressure on Russia and the USA at the top of the medals table. Very strong performance from the Ukraine at these championships.
Very strong throwing, 31.42, her new world record, and yet another gold medal for the Ukraine. 11 now, and this one is for
Mesdames et messieurs,
Maria
merci de vous lever si
Pomazan.
vous le pouvez pour l'hymne national de l'Ukraine.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world champion medalists.
Mesdames et messieurs, les médaillés mondiaux.
Ukraine performing superbly in the field events, as always, in this and in the IAAF circuit as well, and a couple of good sprinters as well. But Maria Pomazan taking the glory in this, and we saw something similar in the women's long jump yesterday. They've got a great athletics program. Prospect, perhaps, of having the next IAAF president. Sergei Bubka. Sebastian Coe is also in the frame. Lamine Diak may also stay on. But here's the men's shot put. Vladimir Sviridov. And we've seen his third round throw there, which is not terribly satisfied with. There's a very good reason for that, because in the first round he threw 14 meters 70, which equals his own world record. So he's in front. It's a one category event, so it's down to distance. Sebastian Dietz is in second place, 12.70, precisely 2 meters back. Paweł Pedrowski of Poland is third, 12.57.
Just having a bit of a chat with the coach. But the way he's going, I don't think he needs too much advice.
So now the men's 400 meters, T13. This is the first semi-final at the Stade de Rhône, and the man who won gold in Beijing 2008, Luis Manuel Galano of Cuba. Lane 4, Zina Sekri of Algeria. Alongside him from Kazakhstan, doing the Mobots, Islam Salimov from Kazakhstan. In 6, Nambala Johannes of Namibia. A good week for him. He won the semi-final of the 200 meters. And in lane 7, silver medalist from the last World Championships, Yanis Protos of Greece. Lane 8, Markeith Price of the USA. T13 for the minimum level of visual impairment. The championship records holder is in the next semi-final. It's the first 3 who qualify for the final, plus the next 2 fastest losers. Galano in 3, Sekri 4, Salimov 5, Johannes 6, Protos 7, and Price is in lane 8. First 3 make it to the final. And away first time, Galano strong out of his blocks in lane 3, the gold medalist from Beijing 2008, and also going well, Salimov of Kazakhstan in 5. And now here comes the surge from Galano in 3. He's up with Sekri in the lane alongside, and he's also overtaken Salimov 2 and 5. Has he gone off too early, or has he timed this absolutely right? Johannes in 6 is also faring well, but Galano is up level with him now as well in terms of visuality, which means he's well ahead of the rest, and he's overtaken just about everybody, and he can afford now to ease off in the closing straight, because Galano is certainly going to win this. I think there's not much doubt about that. It's Galano who's in the lead for Cuba, and he's fallen back a little bit, and here goes Johannes for Namibia. Johannes is going to win. Galano will still take second, and it's Sekri third for Algeria. Good fight back by Nambala Johannes, who's having a good week here. 50.11 is the unofficial time. Well, Galano went off very quickly. Great surge, good performance it was, and then he just began to fade, and this is when Nambala Johannes came into his own. Top 3 to go through anyway. But it means the better lane draw is for Johannes. Sekri second, Galano third. 50.10, the official winning time. Maybe just began to ease off. It didn't really look as if he was tying up majorly. And Nambala Johannes came through. Nice surge. But so much strong early work for Galano. And it would only be third in the end. Johannes takes the honours for Namibia. Fought back well. 50.10. It was a personal best for Galano in the end, so maybe he did tie up. 50.61. And Sekri, the other man who's through.
You'll never guess there's a Mexican in the next race. You might have heard just a bit of a shouting from our friend Octavio in the background. Let's just catch up what's been happening in the discus. I just, during that race, I left the commentary position just to go and move a plant, because they'd moved the plants again, so we couldn't actually see the start of the bend as they come round, and we'll have some 100 metres later, so I thought we'd better do that. This is Minar, set a championship record already today.
sur l'écran géant pour son 4e essai, celle qui vient d'améliorer le record des championnats du lancer du disque, 33,09 m à son 3e essai, République populaire de Chine, Nami.
Well, she has won both this and the shot in the last 3 major championships, and she's already won the shot here this week, championship record.
No throw there, though.
4 meters of a lead.
The Chinese women are very good at this throwing. We saw Wang earlier in the week, and Min are very good in both disciplines. I'll just stay with the discus while we're waiting for the runners to get settled for the 400 meters T13 semi-final. And this is the Czech thrower, Eva Berner, currently in 7th place. Thrown 23.50 and 23.37, and a couple of no throws as well. And it's her best throw so far, 25.55.
Good athlete, she's up into 5th place. It's not her best event, but she's making a good assault on the medals here all the same. So Mina leading with a championship record. It's almost 4 meters clear of Victoria Yasovic of the Ukraine in 2nd. Beverly Jones holding 3rd for Britain, holding off Charlene Coelho and Eva Berner.
That's the standings in the discus, the F37 for women. Nearly ready for the start of the 400 meters T13. You'll know when they're ready to go. You'll recognize the familiar music as they're introduced to the crowd.
It's Yamara Cohen of Venezuela. Penultimate throw. 7th at the moment. 24.64 her best. Not able to get rotations off in it though. Needs an improvement of 4 meters to get into the medals. She had her season's best earlier. It doesn't look a major improvement, to be frank. 26.01, it is her best, and she's up to 5th. Good improvement, which means Eva Berner is down to 6th place.
So let's go now for the men's 400 meters T13 second semi-final. Hugo Cavaco of Portugal has a personal best of 52.73. You can just hear the wind getting up. Just heard it there on the microphone down at trackside. Gildo Zacharias of Mozambique. Alexander Zverev of Russia. Fastest man in the race, 48.83. So far this season he's just done 54.19. Benjamin Gonzalez of Mexico has a personal best of 50.41. Abel Sirap of Romania. No idea how he's going to do. We have no personal best or season's best for this fella. So it's a real wild card. And Jamil Nasser of Algeria, who are punching well above their weight in that medals table at the moment. They've had some phenomenal success. 49.88. He is the second fastest man in the race. So the first 3 in heat will go through, and then the next 2 fastest. You'd expect that to be Zverev, Gonzalez and Nasser, but we will see. So everyone in the race wearing either red or white. It's a Cavaco of Portugal on the inside, Zakairis of Mozambique, but Zverev of Russia is leading them round at the moment. Gonzalez of Mexico going well as well. So it's Zverev as they come round to the 200 meters mark. Zverev of Russia with the two on the inside being left now, Cavaco and Zakairis. It's between these four, Zverev, Gonzalez, Sirap and Nasser. As they come round now, Zakairis of Mozambique trailing behind, but it's the Mexican who's doing very well indeed here. And as they come up to the line, it's going to be these three. There were 3 in white, 3 in red, and the 3 in white have won it. So the qualifiers are Zverev of Russia, Gonzalez of Mexico, and Nasser of Algeria. And fairly sedate pace, 50.72, and just a bit of an injury there. Just holding his leg as he goes over, and that's why Gonzalez of Mexico did very well to finish there. Let's just have a look as he comes down here. Gonzalez of Mexico bringing him home, but you can see he's taking strain there, and he's really having to fight through the barrier. He's in the lead, but just look, you can see he's pulled his right hamstring. He would have to be a doubt for the final, I would think. He's qualified in the season's best. He's done very well to beat Zverev of Russia and Nasser, so we picked the top 3. I would have thought Zverev would have been the leader out of those, and Gonzalez may have just put a little bit too much in it, the Mexican. Can see the strain here, look at that, he's really battling, because the last thing he wants to do is to keep going. And look at the face there, as he holds that right hamstring. He's clearly done himself a mischief, and he's only got a short time to prepare before he will be in the final. And he's the 4th fastest qualifier, so all of the first... Yes, just looking at the semi-finals to the final, it was very much faster in the first semi-final, with Johannes, Sakiri and Galano all faster than Gonzalez, who won that one. Protos of Greece goes through, as does Nasser, Zverev and Zakairis. So we'll wish the Mexican well as he tries to sort out that injury, but if you've got a hamstring, it can take a few days to sort out, and he hasn't got that before the final.
So we're going to cross back now to the shot put. Men's final is on, and this is our leader with the world record equaling throw of 14.70 in the first round. Sebastian Dietz in second for Germany, and Paweł Piotrowski third for Poland. It's a nice lead, exactly 2 meters as we referred to earlier. And obviously seeking to maintain that for his dominance to continue. Carlos Munoz Prats of Spain. 10.45 is best so far. We're into the penultimate round in this. They really have fizzed through this, even though there are 11 throwers. 10.45 is best so far. That's in and around, just past the 10-meter mark again. But needs 12.5 meters to get any way further. $10.20 is his second best throw so far. But because it's his second best throw, he does not advance.
Got some great racing to come on the track later, with the world's fastest leg amputee, Alan Oliveira, aiming to complete a hat-trick of sprint titles. And he goes up against Blake Leaper of the United States and his compatriot David Prince.
Now we've got the men's high jump T13 and a non-starter in Antoine Perel of France, but the reigning world champion is in this Igor Fartunau of Belarus, and also the silver medalist from 2012 from Ukraine, Ivan Kitsenko. It is not a Paralympic Games event. It hasn't been competed for the last 3 games when they've had the current classifications. It's a World Championship event only. The world record in this goes back to when the classifications were different. Sydney 2000, Ruslan Savitsky of Belarus. At the Sydney Games, October 2000, 2 meters 02. That's in F12. In terms of F13, the world record by Igor Fartunau in Assen in the Netherlands in 2003. He's been around a while, turned 40 this year. And he goes in this.
And you can see the wind's getting up quite strongly now. If you look at those canopies down where the throwers are, and they're flapping about a lot in the breeze. The canopies are down there to protect the competitors from the hot sun that we're expecting later, but at the moment, and just looking across this stadium, I can see 25.77's the throw. Just looking across the stadium, I can see sand picking up from the sandpit in the wind, and the flags on the far side of the stadium blowing out. So it's the windiest we've had it, and actually it's quite welcome because it is expected to be very hot today, and it might just be the wind that stops competition being halted between the hours of 4 and 6 when it's really hot here in Lyon. Big throw, gets the white flag. Yamera Cohen doesn't move very much. 24.57, so no better than her 5th throw, and we're back on the track.
Yes, it's the women's 400 meters. And it's the T53s. Very shortly, we'll have a chance to see the T54s, but this is Chelsea McClammer of the United States, won bronze in the 200. Alongside her, the great Angie Ballard. Silver in 3 events in London, plus a bronze. Silver in the 200 here, ahead of McClammer. Zhu Hongxuan won gold in the 400 and 800 at London 2012. Silver in this in her home games, Beijing 2008. Lane 6, Kazumi Nakayama of Japan. And Delana Dupont medaled last night in the 100. Having done previously in 2008, 4th in the 200 final earlier this week. So it's the first 3 who qualify for the final and the 2 fastest losers. None of the record holders are here. So it's McClammer in 3, Ballard in 4, Zhu in 5, Nakayama 6, Dupont 7, and they're away first time. And McClammer is trying to move up in 3, but the best start has been definitely by Zhu Hongxuan, the double medalist in London across 400 and 800, and she's gliding ahead of the rest here. Dupont was going well also in 7. Zhu far and away ahead of the rest already. Can the rest catch her up? The first 3 have all won medals quite recently, either this week or last year. And Zhu absolutely gliding at the moment. World record is 54.88. The championship best is 56.89, and 3 of these have beaten the championship best this year. And Zhu still won't be caught, but maybe there's a challenge coming from Angela Ballard in 2. It's only the first 3 who go through, and at the moment it looks like Zhu, Ballard and McClammer. So Zhu comes in and will get the victory for China. It'll be a nice time as well. It'll be just outside the championship record. Clock hasn't stopped. Ballard 2nd, McClammer 3rd. 57.43, the official time. It was a nice glide by Zhu. She hit the front in the back straight and then stayed out throughout. And really wouldn't be challenged. She had a glance across to see where the rest were, and then I think just began to slow down slightly because she knew she was going to win, and there was very little difficulty for her. She was actually increasing the lead as time went by. I think the velocity went down without doubt. Ballard 2nd, McClammer 3rd, Nakayama 4th, and Dupont 5th. Just a little touch to get the chair back straight, and Zhu gets the glory.
Very comfortable win for this Chinese competitor, Zhu Hongxuan. We've seen a lot of her here. She looked effortless there, qualifying ahead of Angela Ballard and Chelsea McClammer. Let's go live to a bit of discus action then. This is Beverly Jones of Great Britain, lying 3rd at the moment. It's her last effort. She's thrown 28.54. And she needs to get above 29.37 to go ahead of Victoria Yazevich of the Ukraine. Looks a little bit off balance, but she manages to keep within the circle. 28.17. It's her second best throw, but it's not an improvement on her best, which is 28.54. So Beverly will stay in third position, and she will have to settle for the bronze medal. So it's between the Ukrainian and the Chinese now. Minar in the lead with the championship record, 33.09. The Ukrainian Victoria Yazevich has thrown 29.37. So she needs to find nearly 4 meters to move from silver up to gold. It's legal, but it's less than 30 meters, so she knows that she won't be challenging Minar, who's thrown 33.09. It's around the 29-meter mark. Her best has been 29.37. She is up against the world record holder, Minar, who has set a new championship record here, 28.24. And it's a silver medal for the Ukraine and Victoria Yazevich. There is one more throw in this competition, the women's F37 discus for athletes with cerebral palsy. And Minar, we've seen her already set a championship record today, 33.09. She's already the world champion. She's clinched that gold medal, but she will be the last to throw, the last of her 6. And hopefully she'll get this in just before we go to the track. Yes, she will. And that's around about the 30 meters mark. So it won't beat a championship record. It'll be 29 something. And she saves everyone the trouble of measuring it by walking out the front. And that is the new world champion, Minar. Let's have a look, actually. Let's just have another look at her in action. This is her last throw, and you can see there she walks out the front of the circle, just showing you that so you can see why we don't bother to measure it. There was nothing wrong with her throw, but if the athlete walks out, it's the same as coming over the line. And athletes will often do that if they can see that it's less than what they've already thrown. They just walk out. And Minar has done that.
So the events continue here. And this is the second semi-final of the women's 400 meters T53.
We've already seen Zhu of China in action, qualifying with ease. Let's have a look who's in this one. That's Keiko Konishi of Japan in lane 3. Personal best of 1:06.66. Champion Catherine de Brunner, 1:00.38, her personal best. Hamid Kurt of Turkey, 1:03.29. This is the lady with the fastest personal best, 55.27. The only one who's been underneath a minute, Shirley Riley of the USA. And we saw her earlier in the week from Bermuda, Jessica Cooper-Lewis. She will do well to qualify because her personal best is 1:06.12. So it's the first 3 in each heat, and you'd expect it to be de Brunner, Kurt and Riley. Konishi of Japan, Catherine de Brunner, Hamid Kurt, Shirley Riley and Jessica Cooper-Lewis. It's a very good start from Shirley Riley of the USA. Catching up already with Jessica Cooper-Lewis of Bermuda. Shirley Riley overtakes her now, and Catherine de Brunner overtakes Hamid Kurt. So it's the 2 ladies in red leading them round, and Jessica Cooper-Lewis being left behind, as is Hamid Kurt. It's the 2 ladies in red from Switzerland, Catherine de Brunner, trying to keep up with Shirley Riley of the United States. Shirley's bringing them round at the moment. They'll both qualify, so they'll be slowing down here. It's Shirley Riley from the United States ahead of Catherine de Brunner, and Hamid Kurt from Turkey looks like being the other qualifier here. It's only pride at stake here because these three very much away from the other two. But Shirley Riley pushing home in the red of the United States, followed by Catherine de Brunner in the red of Switzerland, and the other qualifier will be in the white, Hamid Kurt of Turkey. So Riley 58.23, de Brunner 59.24, and Kurt with 1 minute .40. Those three will qualify. The other two were quite a long way behind, so we'll have to wait and see who will go through as the fastest qualifiers. Confirmation, Shirley Riley, Catherine de Brunner and Hamid Kurt safely through. Jessica Cooper-Lewis had a new personal best, 1 minute 4.78, and Kaiko Kanishi a season's best, 1 minute 6.62 for Japan. But I don't think either of those will be quick enough to get into the final, but let's have a look. So the qualifiers, Zhu, Riley, Ballard, de Brunner, McClammer and Kurt. Just waiting for confirmation of who are the two fastest qualifiers. And this is the result of that second semi-final. And I can tell you the two fastest qualifiers will be Nakayama and DuPont.
So now the men's shot put. This is Vladimir Sviridov, who has won for Russia. It was his very first throw. It was the first throw of the competition, and it equaled the world record, and that was it. Glory was his. Petrovsky, who won the bronze, has come to congratulate him. Indeed, that's Sebastian Dietz of Germany, who's won the silver, who has a few kind words for him also. So Vladimir Sviridov takes the honours. And great exertions from him. So it means that Mexico, China and Russia have taken the 3 gold medals so far today. That was his last throw. It was over 10 meters. You can see the world record mark, the yellow flag. It was 12.94. 3 of his throws would have won gold individually, and he knew it. That glory was his.
And the wind definitely getting up here, and I just wonder whether the wind will affect any records that might be set today, because if they're throwing into the wind it might hold it back, if they're running into the wind it will slow them down, and if it's behind them then it makes it illegal for the record if it's too strong.
Now this was the very first throw of the competition, and look at where it went out, all the way out to 14 meters 70, and that equals his world record from May in Emmeloord in the Netherlands. It breaks Petrovsky's old championship record from 2 years ago, and it's another gold for Russia. They're 16th now of the games. Sviridov wins 14 meters 70, metre and a half clear of Dietz in second, and Petrovsky took the bronze.
And the wind is definitely getting up. It's blowing around all our notes up here. We're having to hold them all down on clipboards and underneath bottles of water and glasses cases and all sorts of things, just to make sure that the notes don't suddenly go flying down through the press box, upsetting everybody else. So you're watching Paralympic Sport TV, live coverage throughout the world of these IPC Athletics World Championships here in Lyon 2013.
Now this is the silver medal throw from Sebastian Dietz, which we haven't had a chance to see earlier. Actually, it was his final throw, going out to 13 meters 17. He'd been exactly 2 meters behind Sviridov for a long time with that 12.70 throw, but he improved on it with his last 2. And you can just see from the flags and from the tents just how strong the wind is today, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Petrovsky was third, 12.91. Everybody's throws in the last round, bar Sviridov, were the best.
And you can also see the direction the flags are bowing, that he is throwing straight into a wind.
Now that puts him second, Petrovsky, with 12.91. Dietz had gone out to 12.76, but reclaimed the silver medal with his 13.17. But not enough as Sviridov won it. New world record, equal world record, and a new championship record as well.
It's almost become like a little mini Glastonbury with all those tents that have gone up, the canopies. Extra canopies have gone up today because we're expecting very warm weather, and the athletes in between their throws will be needing to be protected from the sun. We're going to have some high jump action as well as the throwing.
Now the other shot put is still going. This is the women's shot put, and this is our leader, Birgit Kober, who 2-3 years ago it was a medical procedure that went wrong, and now she's a Paralympic, and she's a very, very good parasport athlete. Championship record 9.92, third round. She's dominated this competition since she's come on the scene.
Wearing one of those bandages that footballers wear when they've got a head injury and they've had a clash of heads, and they get strapped up and come back onto enormous applause.
It's points that decide this, but it's a championship record, 9.92 for Birgit Kober of Germany. A fellow German, Maria Reimer Skrovnurik, is in 8th place at the moment. Kober very good at the javelin. She's won that 3 major championships in a row, including here, and she is the reigning world champion. This event was not competed for at the Paralympic Games. So now further action on the field. We've got women's long jump final action, T37-38. There's 13 in this. Includes a couple of good sprinters as well, who we've seen perform terrifically this week. Neda Bahi of Tunisia won gold in the 400 meters of London 2012. We've seen Margarita Goncharova win gold in this long jump and the 100 in London, a relay as well. So 3 gold medals for her at London 2012. The reigning world champion is Ramun Adamaitiene of Lithuania. Also representing Ireland in this is Heather Jameson. Jennifer Santos is there of Brazil. 10.26 is Nedi Baha. We've seen win sprint medals already this week. And for France, Anaïs Yaron, 4.23, a personal best set this year. It really is blowy today. It's normally been quite calm and quite hot, but the organisers need a good breeze today. There is a threat of the events being delayed a couple of hours in the afternoon should conditions be too strong.
Got some great action coming up on the track. The 400 metres T54s will be getting ready, and we've got the 2 McFadden sisters will be going in that. Edith Wolfe, Jade Jones, Diane Roy, all the favourites. Manuela Scher will be in action.
Now, an event which has not been competed for at the last 3 Paralympic Games, but Igor Fartanau of Belarus is the man to beat here. He is the reigning world champion from 2011. Sergei Burdakov, his compatriots. So his attempt successful at 165. They're in the opening exchanges of this. Maybe 184 when we see some of the bigger names. I see Fartanov has passed up on his first attempt at 165, but will come in at 170. Tyson Gunter in the United States is not going to come in until 184, which is a bit of a risk. He's comfortable with it.
So let's see how the Ukrainian gets on. Well, we didn't see it, but he cleared it, let me tell you.
Bronze medalist representing Spain.
So now the men's 100 metres T12 ceremony. This from last night. It's another Polish success. Maxi Rodriguez Maggi gets the bronze medal for Spain. a season's best 11:24 for Rodriguez Maki.
Representing the Russian Federation.
Artem Romanov of Russia's second medal of the week. Season's best 11:07. The wind was not as much a factor last night as it is here today.
Gold medalist and world champion.
They claimed the gold medal for Poland. Terrific week for them, which just keeps getting better. Mateusz Zalski. 10:79. He's clear of the rest. Trikulic went, by the way, you'll remember, was leading at one stage. Then pulled a hamstring. He still made it over the line in 25 seconds.
You're able for the national anthem
But
of
it's
Poland.
then opened the door for Mikalski to win the gold for Poland. Their 7th gold this week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world champion medalist.
Everyone in the stadium stands up for all of the anthems. One of the officials in the blue, the man on the finish line, actually forgot to stand up there and just got nudged by one of his colleagues and then stood up with a big grin on his face. It's great to see the way all the anthems are respected. Let's have a look at the best throw in the discus. This is Mina, who we saw completing a throw, but we're just going back to see this is the one that actually set the championship record. We saw a throw just under 30, but this is the one that went over 33.09. That was finally measured out, and it was her 3rd throw. The one in the green always tells you which is the best throw, and that was a new championship record for Mina, who continues her domination. She gets the gold ahead of Victoria Yasevich of the Ukraine and Beverly Jones of Great Britain getting the bronze. And now we've got another medal ceremony, the men's shot put, the F34.
Bronze medalist, representing the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Gold for Britain in this in the end, but Mohsen Qaidi got the bronze medal, 12:73, quite tight. It's only 1.5 meters between the top 8. It was Kyle Petty of Canada who was down in 8, but just couldn't motor any further up the field. So Qaidi, the bronze for Iran. It was Russian silver, and anytime you see his name in a start list, it looks like it's been heavily abbreviated.
Silver medalist,
But it's not.
representing the Russian
Personal best
Federation.
of 12:79. Alexander Elmin.
Gold medalist and world champion, representing Great Britain.
That was a world record for Great Britain. And a gold medal too for Scott Jones. It's already been for Beverly Jones. Bronze medal for Britain today. See their tally now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise now
26.
your table for the national
11 of those
Great Britain.
gold.
Mesdames et messieurs, merci de vous
One of
lever
those
s'il
is
vous
owned
plaît,
by
pour
Scott
l'hymne
Jones.
national de la Grande-Bretagne.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world champion
is.
finalists.
World
Mesdames et
champion.
messieurs, les médaillés mondiaux.
Nice team photo for the family album for Scott Jones, Alexander Elmin and Mohsen Kaidi. Paralympic Sport TV live from the IPC Athletics World Championships here in Lyon 23 with me, Jeremy Nicholas, Will Downing. Another beautiful day in Lyon. Some long jump, some high jump, lots of medals for you. And we've got the McFadden sisters in action on the track, Tatiana and Hannah. And they will be taking their positions. First, there's a bit of a roadblock on the track. You can see them just behind. They have to wait for the medal ceremony to clear, and now they'll push on through. Jade Jones of Great Britain with the pink wheels, the first to come past. Let's have a look at the favourite in the long jump. Here we go. This is the Ukrainian, I think.
This is Goncharova of Russia, who's also an excellent 100-meter sprinter and who took the honours in this.
Why is a Russian wearing blue? The Russian team have just been in all sorts of different colours here.
Took the honours in London 2012 in this and the 100 metres and 4:58. Immediately puts her in front. Nedi Bahi, who's also a very good sprinter, mainly at 400 where she won gold in London 2012. She's gone out to 4:02, a season's best for her. And third at the moment for Ireland is Heather Jameson, 3:87. It's a large field in this. We've got 13 in total. Matilda Thorsteinsdottir of Iceland, who won gold yesterday in the men's javelin spectacularly, quite famously. Did win a succession of medals in the past, but that was the old-style Paralympic Games, where there were many more events which no longer take place, and sports which are no longer part of the Paralympic movement.
Lots of the long jumpers have ponytails.
Well, that actually cost someone a medal in the last World Championships in Daegu 2 years ago, an Italian jumper. More about that than none. Thorsteinsdottir has gone out around just before 4 metres, I think, between 4 metres and 4:50. The technique was fine. Might be good enough to get her into the medals right now. Veronica Ippolito is in this as well. We've seen a lot of this week.
We might have women viewers that know more about hair than me that will say that's actually not a ponytail, that might be a plait, I believe. I don't really have much hair myself, so I don't bother myself with those matters.
So now, the star of the week, 5 gold medals. All indications that is already a Paralympic Games record. And now she goes again in this women's 400. Alongside her, Jade Jones of Great Britain, coached by Tony Gray-Thompson. Sherry Madsen of the United States is in lane 5. Valeria Yara of Argentina. The flag is raised and on a singlet. I've not seen that before. That actually looks quite nice. I wonder if they'd adopt that long term. And silver in 2 events this week, the 800 and the 5,000, in which she got the championship record for Switzerland, Manuela Schär. So it's the first three who qualify for the final. Chantal Petty-Clerc holds both the world record and the championship record from Assen 7 years ago. So McFadden with 5 golds already. This her assault at a 6th. Potentially she's in the marathon too. So we're at the first time of asking. McFadden in 3, Jones in 4, Manson 5, Girard 6, and Shah is in 7. And McFadden in lane 3 on the inside. Well, how many can she pick off? Well, that's the first gone, Jay Jones of Britain, and the second and third in Manson and Girard have already arrived. And the second chair you can see is Tatiana McFadden. And that means she's well in the lead. And Shah really has been one of her closest rivals this week in the various categories, but she won 100 so tightly, so incredibly tightly. The 5,000 as well. And she's basically trying to win the entire clean sweep, all 6 events. Here she is in the 400, all 6 track events she's trying to win. And in the 400 semi-final, absolutely coasting. We know who's won this. Manuela Shah is in second at the moment for Switzerland. McFadden comes through 54-68. Shah is second, and the other American, Sherry Madsen, is third. And Jay Jones is fourth for Britain. Valeria Yara is fifth for Argentina. And by her standards, that was very routine. But I could never recall ever anywhere somebody winning every track event from 100 to 5,000. And McFadden, well, she started very well in her assault. The final leg of that, she wins in 54.70, which by 100th of a second is the season's best. Shah was second and Madsen was third. And even all the semi-finals she's winning, just from memory, I can't remember a race she hasn't won this week. Probably has been won, but even in every semi-final she comes out and she wants to win every one. There's no medals, it's just an extra psychological advantage over the rest, as if she didn't have enough of that already.
She does it just for fun. I don't think she has it in her DNA to actually lose a race. She has to win it. Jade Jones of Great Britain will have to wait and see if she qualifies as a fastest loser. Jade with the pink wheels, as you said, is coached by Tanni Gray-Thompson. Tanni Gray, one of the greatest ever Paralympians for Great Britain. And if you're wondering if the old girl still got it, she has, because she brought the BBC Radio 5 Live team home to victory in the media race. And you can catch up with that, actually. It's on our YouTube channel, ParalympicSport.tv. 5 Live beating Channel 4 into second place, but a British 1 and 2, which we're very proud of. You'll recognise the commentator on it. It's our very own Will Downing alongside me. And I got to be the stadium announcer in the stadium to actually do that, which I was delighted to do, adding it to Wembley, Twickenham and the Millennium Stadium and the mighty Bowling Ground as lists of stadiums where I have announced. Crowd keeping cool as best they can. You can see the hair blowing out. It shows you a bit of a breeze.
Now back to the women's long jump, T37.38. And let's take a look at the first round jump of Marta Langner of Poland. Lead being held by Goncharova of Russia, 4.58. And only 3 attempts have gone over 4 meters, and Langner's is one of them. That is 4 meters 07. And she goes into second place. There was quite a headwind as well. They're all facing a headwind. In fact, Thorstein's daughter, who we saw earlier, was a headwind of 3.9 meters per second, which is why she only went out to 3.87 and why she's currently joint 5th alongside Ireland's Heather Jameson.
I wonder if Thorstein himself is here. I've seen his daughter in action. Might well be in the crowd. If so, he will be feeling the heat from Iceland.
Well, also in this is Veronica Ippolito of Brazil, who's won 2 track medals this week, gold in the 200 and silver in the 100. This is Natalia Jasinska of Poland with her first round attempt. Again, that might be around 4 meters, but it's academic as it's a red flag. 4:01 is her lifetime best. So there's good track and jumping talent right across this field. Ramun Adomaitiene of Lithuania is the reigning world champion in this and is a live contender.
So let's have a look at this second semi-final then. We saw one McFadden in action. We're about to see the other, Hannah McFadden, her younger sister. There is a third one as well. It's a dynasty, but Tatiana very much the beast of the family. Diane Roy in action as well, you'll recognise. Edith Wolff. Some big names in this. There's Alexandra Helbling. Season's best, 1 minute, 0.72. It's Canada's Diane Roy. Second fastest personal best, 55.17. Hannah McFadden, season's best, 59.01. That was her personal best as well. In the blue of Finland, Amanda Kataja, personal best, 57.35. Edith Wolff, bronze medalist from London. Second fastest personal best behind Diane Roy, 55.08. And the cowbells signal her arrival. One lap of the track, first 3 in each heat, and the next 2 fastest qualify. And they're away first time. It's Helbling, Roy, McFadden, Kataja and Edith Wolff. And away very quickly, it's Amanda Kataja of Finland in the blue. She's passed Edith Wolff already. Edith Wolff, very experienced Swiss competitor, just getting the cowbells just to cheer her up. Amanda Kataja, they're going fast, very fast indeed, leading this field, and Wolff is now staying with her. Hannah McFadden of the USA in third place at the moment, but she may well be overtaken on the bend by Diane Roy of Canada and Alex Helbling of Switzerland on the inside, being left behind at the moment. So it's Kataja from Wolff. And we're getting a big gust of wind coming up, so all the papers are flying everywhere, but Edith Wolff of Switzerland coming back. That early pace from Kataja of Finland, but it's Wolff who comes over the line, and Hannah McFadden coming in fourth. We'll have to wait and see. So Wolff, Roy and Kataja. Great pace from the Finnish girl at the end. She started well, but she didn't finish well for a Finnish competitor. So Edith Wolff, who was overtaken early on, came back strongly with a season's best 56.68. Diane Roy qualifies as well, 57.69. Amanda Kataja, a season's best 58.43. Probably just went away a little bit too quickly. And Hannah McFadden does qualify for the final. She set a new personal best. She'll line up alongside her sister in the 400 metres T54 final. But that's the winner, Edith Wolff. She wasn't put off by the early pace of Amanda Kataja overtaking her on the inside. Confirmation then of the 3 qualifiers, and the fastest qualifier are Edith Wolff, Diane Roy, Amanda Kataja and Hannah McFadden. Women's long jump taking place over on the far side. That's the French girl, Agnès Yaron. 387 she's jumped into a 1.2 meters per second headwind. Coach has the clipboard out just to relay some information. The long jump hit just coincides with a couple of very handily placed trees. Gives a bit of a shade to the spectators. So let's have a look at the women's long jump. The standings after one round of jumps for everyone. Margarita Goncharova of Russia ahead of the Lithuanian, the Brazilian, the Pole and the Tunisian. Gonchar in the lead, and we're going to have the second round of jumps now.
Yeah, this is Heather Jameson from Ireland. One stage in third place, 3 meters 87, but now down to 8th as others have come and have gone further. That's in around 4 meters. Personal best is 3:11. Her season's best is 3:97. And that's gone down as a foul. Just been down talking to Tatjana McFadden just to ask to see if she's going to take the marathon as well. And she's not going to, so it's going to be the 6 track events. And she's done fantastically, 5 golds so far, wins her semi-final. Great chance of winning the 400. I think she's won enough, and the marathon will not be one of those.
I wonder where you've gone. You suddenly disappeared, came back all out of breath. I thought, oh, he's very excited on commentating on the Irish girl in the long jump, but that's good research. So you just went down to the mix zone, down to the right, and I had a chat with Tanya, and how's she feeling?
Oh, she's feeling fantastic. She's in great form.
She's less out of breath than you are from running back up the steps.
Well, absolutely. She was just waiting to see how her sister Hannah was going to get on, and so that's it. So Tatjana McFadden, who was originally down to do the marathon, won't be doing the marathon now, but she's doing the 100 as a replacement, and she's won the gold in that already. 5 gold medals. That's a record. We're pretty certain about that. Everybody we've asked has convinced nobody else. Chantal Pelly-Clerc might have done it, but actually didn't achieve that.
I wonder how much rivalry there is between the two McFaddens. I mean, when Tatjana's watching her sister, I should imagine she wanted to get to the final, but she won't want her to beat her in the final, which I don't think she would. So I should imagine at the moment it's a fairly friendly sibling rivalry because Tatjana is so dominant in the sport. But if Hannah McFadden starts getting better and better, it'd be interesting to see how they are. Maybe they'll be like the Williams sisters in tennis, where the dad doesn't like them to play each other.
4:07, and Nedi Baha is in 3rd place. So now this is the first semi-final of the men's 400 metres, the T52. And this is another person going for a grand slam of gold medals here. Raymond Martin. He's won 4 out of 4 so far, and this is his last event, the 400 metres. He won 4 golds at London 2012. He's the only man in the field with a personal best and a season's best inside a minute. Elsewhere, Leonardo Perez of Mexico. Lane 5, Stephen Toyoji of the United States. Another good athlete, he's a coming name. Thomas Garspichler of Austria. Personal best of just outside a minute. The first 3 will go through in this, incidentally. Of Thailand, twice major medalist, he goes in lane 7. So it's the first 3 who go through to the final, the next 2 fastest losers. And you'd expect Raymond Martin, who's still only 19, to be at the forefront of affairs again. So they're underway. Martin in 3, Perez in 4, Toyosi in 5, Garspichler in 6, and Runsri in 7. Martin with another very strong start. Gold medals so far this week in the 100 and the 200 and the 800 and the 1500. He's already overtaken Leonardo Perez of Mexico, who's got some great vociferous support here from one man in particular, Stephen Toyosi of the United States. He's been overtaken also, and now Thomas Garspichler of Austria too. And very shortly it'll be Ben Brunsri also of Thailand, and he's in ahead of the rest of the halfway mark, 200 metres, and he's still going for more, Raymond Martin. And there are championship records here to look at. Tomoya Ito of Japan, 60.17. Martin may fancy his chances of that here, but he's absolutely flying at the moment. Perez of Mexico is now in 2nd place behind, but Martin is really unchallenged here. Perez way back in second, and Garspickler third, and it's 60.03, just outside the championship record. Well, it was a good performance. Perez was in second place, but Raymond Martin, as soon as he went off, you knew what the outcome would be. Well, he almost lost control there, actually, and needed a very strong strike on his right wheel to get him back online. 1 minute 0.35 is 18 hundredths of a second outside the championship record set in Christchurch by Tomoya Ito, who is one of those champions not back to defend the title. Actually, the world record in the T51, who also qualify occasionally to compete in this, is Edgar Navarro, who we saw excellently win the 200 earlier in the T51. But Raymond Martin, you reach the end of the week and you try and think of something original that you've not said already about the man, and it's the same thing with Tatiana McFadden. Just a born winner, but very impressive. Perez, who was largely just using his right arm to propel himself. He knew he was through, so there was no need of any further exertion. So Raymond Martin takes the victory and takes it well. 1 minute 0.35. Perez, the personal best, 101.07. And Garspickler of Austria in third, 104.05. Toyoshi and Rumsrud will have to wait.
Second semi-final coming up very shortly with Beat Bush of Switzerland and Gianfranco Iannotta of the United States. Watching Paralympic Sport TV live from Lyon, IPC Athletics World Championships. Let's go back to the long jump. This is live action we're watching now.
Torstein Stottir of Iceland, 7th, 387. And not really an improvement. 4:10, her personal best set this year.
Just seeing her ponytail there, you were going to tell us a ponytail story we never did hear.
Yes, there was an Italian jumper in Daegu in 2011 in the women's long jump, and she had a ponytail, and I think she was in contention for the gold medal. And because she had a very, very long ponytail, it just draped back behind her, and in the end it cost her something like 40 centimeters. There was a bit of an inquiry for a few days as to why the result came up as it did, and then because where her body was, where she landed, seemed to be 40-50 centimeters further than what she'd been given, and then it emerged, well, the mark closest to the jumping pit was actually made by her very long ponytail, and that was it. They have to measure the mark you make, and the mark was made there. It was extraordinary. Brittany Reese won that in the end with 6.82.
So let's go for this second semi-final of the T52s. 200 meters. Beat Bush of Switzerland, Gianfranco Iannotta, the two to watch in this one. So let's go trackside. There's Christian Torres of Colombia in lane 3. Personal best set this season of 1 minute 3:43. This man can go quicker. Beat Bush of Switzerland. Second fastest man in the race is this chap from the United States, Gianfranco Iannotta. Castillo, Venezuela, and this is Salvador Hernandez of Mexico. So the fastest men on the inside lanes. Beat Bush 102.67 in lane 4. Gianfranco Iannotta 104.11 in 5, and Christian Torres 103.43 on the inside in lane 3. Close up at the speaker, fires the gun, and away they go. Torres of Colombia, Bush of Switzerland, Ianotta of the United States, Castillo of Venezuela, and Hernandez of Mexico. And it's Ianotta of the United States who's making ground in the middle lane. Ianotta coming past Castillo of Venezuela now. Ianotta of the United States going very well. Pushing forwards. Taking a bit of the strain is Hernandez of Mexico, but it's Ianotta of the United States in that middle lane who is setting the pace ahead of Bush of Switzerland on the inside, and Torres of Colombia further back than we thought he would be, but now he's making some ground. So it's Ianotta of the United States ahead of Bush of Switzerland, and the Colombian in the yellow, Torres, making ground all the time. He's catching up with Bush, and a bit of a challenge coming in from Castillo of Venezuela. But it's Ianotta of the United States. Castillo of Venezuela finishing very strong, beat Bush. He's going to be beaten. So he beat Bush, and it was Ianotta of the United States with a new personal best. Torres of Colombia and Castillo of Venezuela came, and the Swiss athlete beat Bush, was beat into fourth place, 104.97 his time. Great finish from Castillo of Venezuela, who was punching well above his weight. His personal best 106.27. I think he's beaten that. Hernandez 104.58. And Salvador Hernandez with a new season's best. So the qualifiers, a personal best for Ianotta, Christian Torres comfortably in second, Salvador Hernandez with a season's best, and even though Pete Bush and Marcus Castillo both got season's bests, they're not in the top three, and we'll have to wait and see if they qualify. Just taking a bit of time over this, the computer to work it all out. So the three Americans, Ianotta, Toyoji and Martin, qualify. Just confirmation of the three qualifiers from this, Ianotta, Torres and Hernandez. And they are through to the final.
It's about that long jump, by the way, in Dago. It was Natasya Mironchik-Ivanova of Belarus. She finished fourth, 6.74. Her ponytail actually cost her not just a medal, it cost her gold. Cost her about 20-30 centimetres, and the gold medal from Brittany Reese was only 8 centimetres away at 6.82. Now currently in second place is Ramoun Adamaitiene in our long jump here. 4.45 in the first round, really good leap. Puts her into the medals, but does she stay there? Still a little bit of advice needed from her coach. 4.28 is not an improvement. A couple of medal ceremonies on the way, and this is an Irish medal ceremony because it's Jason Smith who's going top of the podium now.
And the man in the middle there is Craig Spence, who's the chap we spoke to earlier, the communications director from the IPC, about the weather conditions and whether or not there might be a delay this afternoon if it gets too hot. He's the fella in the middle.
So the bronze for Bulgaria, and really second, third were out of it, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth as well. Frankly, but Radoslav Zlatanov just edged out Nambala Johannes of Namibia out of the medals by thousandth of a second. They had the same time officially of 11.15, but they were divided, and Zlatanov takes the bronze medal.
Silver medalist representing South Africa.
Médaille d'argent représentant l'Afrique du Sud.
Was a South African silver, an athlete who is improving all the time, Jonathan Ntutu. 11.12 was his time. We're still half a second away from the impressive eventual winner.
Gold medalist and world champion representing Ireland.
Médaille d'or et champion du monde représentant l'Irlande, Jason Smith.
A familiar sight, Jason Smith up to receive yet another gold medal, his second of these games. Receives it from Craig Spence. Won the 200 here and now the 100 as he did in London. And he did in Beijing, as he started off doing in Assen in the 2006 World Championships. Wasn't in Christchurch, but I think he's happy he came here. Jason Smith, another gold medal in the career. Maybe Moscow's calling, he will certainly hope so. But in Lyon, 2 gold medals for Jason Smith and for Ireland. Well, he's done it again as Jason Smith, still undefeated in Paralympic competition. And in IAAF competition, he's run around 10.2. Narrowly missed out on qualifying for the Olympic Games in 2012. Still a chance to qualify for Moscow. He's been based in Florida for a few seasons. He's run some really good fast times there. Now back to the women's long jump, and this is the sprint champion from earlier this week in the 200 meters, silver in the 100, Veronica Ippolito, 5th at the moment. Meters 13. We're going to go to another medal ceremony.
Mesdames et messieurs, cérémonie protocolaire du lancer de massue homme F31, 32, 51.
Just hearing that there's been a disqualification. We understand it's in the men's 400 meters T52. Leonardo Perez of Mexico finished 2nd, but has been disqualified. That means Guy Spickler of Austria has moved up to 2nd. Raymond Martin won that. It was his semi.
Médaille de bronze représentant la République tchèque.
This is the medal ceremony for the men's club throw. F31, 32, 51 from yesterday. Jan Vanek from the Czech Republic. Championship record in his category, but only enough for bronze as it was decided on points. Maciej Soszał of Poland. Continental record 36.97. He finished in 2nd place. Great exports of sports people. The best footballers tend to play in Germany. And the gold with a new world record for Algeria. It will go to Ari Balaj.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able for the national anthem of Algeria.
Mesdames et messieurs, merci de vous lever si vous le pouvez pour l'hymne national de l'Algérie.
and gentlemen, the world champion medalist.
So it's now 8 gold medals this week for Algeria. I'm told he had the option to come in a wheelchair, but he wanted to come on his own 2 feet and receive his medal, and he has done that. To the long jump, T37.38, Anaïs Jaron of France, 387 in the first round. Needs an improvement of 23 centimeters to get into the medals. And it's a good crowd over on that far side built up to see her go up beyond 4 meters. If she gets a white flag for this, surely a good chance of improving.
Nice lot of flags over on the far side. We can see the French flag, and we were wondering about whether the Icelandic girl, whether her dad was here. Is that an Icelandic flag or a Norwegian flag? I think that is.
Oh, it is Icelandic, yeah, at the back, yes, very good.
Yeah, so Thorstein Dottir, which means Thorstein's daughter. I wonder if that's Thorstein's flag over on the far side. Amazing how many of these women long jumpers are also sprinters that double up in some of the events.
Well, it's speed to go down the runway and then to launch yourself. 391, improvement of 4 centimeters, so it doesn't improve on Heather Jameson. She's a different category to Jameson, and Jameson has slightly more points as a result.
We have still the Russian in the lead, Margarita Goncharova, who herself is a sprinter. She won gold in the long jump in London, as well as gold in the 100 metres and the 4x100 relay, and was a silver medalist in the 200. So certainly the speed it's all about.
Right, so now the first semi-final of the women's 1500 metres. It's the T12s. For Colombia, Maritza Arango Buitrago and her guide, Jonathan Sanchez Gonzalez. Elena Pautova of Russia, the defending world champion, won this title in London 2012 and Beijing 2004. Pautova has the fastest personal best. Now making a major international championship debut from Ireland, Yorlan County Cork, Amanda Crotty. Her guide is Kevin Nolan. And from Portugal, Maria Fuiza. Guide is João Campos.
And obviously, as a West Ham fan, my ears pricked up when you said Kevin Nolan, captain of the mighty West Ham United. But obviously it's a different person.
So it's the first 2 in each heat and the next 2 who advance. So 4 in this, the first 2 qualify, and they'll just have to reset. Just to update you about the second placer who was disqualified in Raymond Martin's heat, the Mexican, who was because he took the inside line, which you're not supposed to do. So underway in the first semi-final of the women's 1500 meters T12. It's Maritza Arango Buitrago of Colombia, Elena Pautova of Russia, Amanda Crotty of Ireland, and her guide, Kevin Nolan, and Maria Fuiza of Portugal. These are the 4 in this. It's the first 2 who qualify. Around 5 minutes this should be running, though it depends how quickly they go round. Arango Buitrago taking the lead for Colombia, Pautova second, Amanda Crotty third, and Maria Fuiza fourth, which is exactly as they were in the start list and exactly as they are out in the track. Pautova is very much the one to watch and the one to beat. She's won this in 3 of the last 4 major championships, one at the Paralympic Games in Athens in 2004 and also London 2012. She's the reigning world champion as well, won bronze in this in 2008 and also bronze in the 800 in Beijing as well.
So they come round with 3 laps to go. The Colombians leading, Maritza Arango Buitrago with guide Jonathan Sanchez Gonzalez. The Russian in second place is Elena Pautova without a guide at all. Amanda Crotty in the green of Ireland with the red hat with her guide Kevin Nolan. And in fourth place it's the Portuguese pair at the moment, Maria Fuiza and now Campos. So it's the Colombians down the back straight in the yellow. The Russian looking very comfortable indeed in second place. Keep an eye on Elena Pautova. She's far and away the fastest in this race. She's the only one that's ever been under 5 minutes, 4:36.38 her time. So just let me tell you, she is just jogging behind those two Colombians at the moment and looking very, very comfortable indeed. So it's the Colombians bring them round. Arango Buitrago ahead of Elena Pautova of Russia, Amanda Crotty of Ireland, looking very comfortable as well, and the Portuguese not taking any strain. So it's a fairly sedate pace. They're certainly not pushing it. And now we're beginning to see the Colombians stepping on the gas a little bit, and the Russian girl is going with them.
Yes, it's now Elena Pautova, who for a second looked as if she was going to overtake the Colombian pair, but she's just stalking them at the moment, happily behind, and she will decide within the final 2 laps, perhaps when she's going to go around them. Maritza Arango Buitrago leads for Colombia alongside her guide, Jonathan Sanchez-Gonzalez. Elena Pautova second for Russia, quite a gap back to third place. Amanda Crotty of Ireland, she's from Yawling, County Cork. Her uncle Eugene has been a radio sports host for decades by this stage. This is her first championships. There was a strong chance she was going to be picked for the Paralympic Games last year in London, but wasn't named in the squad in the end, so this is a result, her first major championship. She's been training very heavily in and around the sports arenas of Yule for this the past 6 months, and finally the Thursday before these games was officially named. So she's in 4th place now. Maria Fueza of Portugal has moved up to 3rd alongside João Campos, but it's still leading the way for Colombia. Maritza Arango Buitrago with Elena Pautova very comfortably behind her in 2nd, really jogging at the moment.
And the Portuguese pair are making a bit of a break to see if they can get back up with the top 2. The Irish pair being left just at the moment, the Colombians still leading the way, and it's almost as though the Russian is using the Colombians as a guide of her own, because Elena Pautova, the only person in the race without a guide, she's just tucked in behind Arango Buitrago and her guide Sanchez Gonzalez, and almost looks like she's running in Wellington boots, because she's got yellow fluorescent socks and yellow running shoes, and it just looks a little bit like Elena Pautova is wearing Wellington boots. She's tucked in behind the Colombians, then it's the Portuguese, then the Irish girl at the back, and we'll just wait and see where the Russian makes her move.
So 300 metres to go, and it's Maritza Arango Buitrago of Colombia who leads. It's the first 2 who qualify for the final, and the next 2 fastest losers. And Elena Pautova, well, she looks very, very comfortable in 2nd place, possibly the most comfortable in the field. They're both pacing each other very well, Arango Buitrago and Elena Pautova. And as well as that, well, it is a stiff breeze today, and she's been very well shielded from that. Well back in 3rd place now is Maria Fueza of Portugal. Amanda Crotty of Ireland is in 4th place.
I wonder if she's one of these ones that likes to win, like a McFadden. Will she want to win, or will she just be content to finish 2nd and just be shielded?
Well, she's the only one with a personal best and a season's best inside 5 minutes, Elena Pautova. But at the moment, the Russian is very happily ensconced behind Maritza Arango Buitrago, and that's where she's remained. And so it's between these two now in the closing straight. Maria Fueza's a little back in 3rd, and now Elena Pautova comes out into lane 2, and now she accelerates slightly. And Elena Pautova, after the rest and all the hard work, comes out to win this semi-final. 5:08.79. Arango Buitrago is in 2nd, 3rd is Maria Fueza, and 4th will be Amanda Crotty. Very easily done by Elena Pautova, and to be honest, a bit cheeky, considering that I think 95% of the race was led by the Colombians, and Pautova was tucked in behind all the way. This was the big manoeuvre of the race, and sometimes they're going at 3 times the speed of this, but Pautova didn't. She just strolled round. I'll take this. Thank you.
I think we'll call
Think
that,
you'll win? Yes.
We'll call that the McFadden effect, I think, which is when you win a race, you really don't need to, but you just can't help yourself. Because she could happily have come across the line 2nd, but she wouldn't have wanted to have seen that she qualified as the 2nd place. She wanted to qualify as the winner, and so for no reason at all, she just came out. That, I mean, there is a reason for it. It's just the competitive nature of athletes. And, she would want to go in as the winner.
Well, it may be only a semi-final, but it's still a race. And Pautova won it 5:08.76, and she slipped in front of Maritza Arango Buitrago. quite cheekily indeed, who was the only T11 in the race. 5:09.81. They're the two who are comfortably through to the final. Fuisa and Crotty will have to wait for the second semi-final. Well, speaking of Tatiana McFadden, we did speak to her earlier, and the marathon is on Sunday, which she was originally entered for, but she's not going in it now. But she's won all of the 5 events she's competed for to date. There's only the 400 left. She's won the semi-final, and it would be a clean sweep of all 6 track events for her category.
And if you're planning to come along and watch that marathon, it's been moved 3 hours earlier because they're expecting it to be an absolute scorcher on Sunday. Let's check out the long jump. This is Marta Langner, who's just about to jump, and you can see that Goncharova, the sprinter and long jumper specialist, is in the lead at the moment. So we're about to see Marta Langner of Poland, currently lying 3rd, 871 points for her jump of 4:10. Her second jump, her first jump was 4:7. It's a combined category. It's for athletes with arm deficiencies, T37s and T38s in this. Marta is T37 competitor. She leaves the sandpit. So to move up place, she would have to have jumped more than 4:45. At the moment she's in bronze. They'll get 6 jumps, top competitors, and this is her 3rd.
Well, she was good position, 3rd place, 4:10 heading into this. It is a dual category, so it's decided on points, and that's 4:08. But I mean, look at that jumping: 4:07, 4:08, 4:10.
Very convincing the way she managed to keep all those together. So Marta Langner stays in 3rd place in the cerebral palsy long jump.
Now this is the final track event of the morning session. It's the second semi-final of the women's 1500 meters T12. Elena Kongost Mohidano has won silver in this in the last World Championships, and at London 2012 she is the fastest personal best, the fastest season's best of these 4. Alongside the Colombian Maria Torres Aldana, alongside her for Turkey, unusual black Turkish singlet, is Samaya Ozkan with her guide Kemal Kous, and for Morocco, Meriam El Nouri. So those the 4 in this second semi-final. First 2 to qualify, and the 2 fastest losers. .5:14 is currently the fastest time of the fastest loser, and that's Maria Fuisa of Portugal. So the 4 in this: Elena Kongost Mohidano of Spain, Maria Torres Aldana of Colombia, alongside her guide Edgar Medina Sanchez. It's Sumaya Ozkan of Turkey, alongside her guide Kemal Kous, and for Morocco it's Meriam En Nouri. And it is the Colombian out in front, Maria Torres Aldana straight away, but Elena Kongost Mohidano without the guide, and Meriam El Nouri of Morocco also without a guide, who are comfortably 2nd and 3rd at the moment.
It's the Colombians bringing them round. Maria Torres Aldana in the yellow of Colombia. Then it's the 2 runners without the guides, and they are from Spain and Morocco: Elena Kongost Mohidano and Meriam En Nouri of Morocco, and the Turkish Sumay Ozkan just at the back.
Well, you'll see there's no strapping between the Colombian guide and his athlete Maria Torres Aldana, and in 1500 meters, maybe not really necessary. I saw the Irish duo earlier of Amanda Crotty and Kevin Nolan. They didn't have binds either. And the guides, by the way, they do tend to train together with the athlete, but in some cases they also act as a chaperone of the athlete as well during the week, because Kevin Nolan, when he arrived with Amanda Crotty, were actually on the same flight last Thursday from Dublin into Lyon, They're basically together as a partnership, as a training team, and they're together for the week as well.
I just wonder how much the guide is in the race to actually point them in the right direction, and how much are in the race to see what other people around them are doing, because I could see that being very useful for the Colombians. That guide can turn around and say, okay, you've got a Moroccan just behind you, the Spanish girls up there as well, because these people perhaps don't have enough visibility, obviously, to run on their own, the T12s, as we can see from the two running without guides.
And I think there's a very simple instruction that the guides can give. Vamos, move. And you look right now, Congost Mohdano and El Nouri are right behind Maria Torres Aldana here, and in the first semi-final we saw Maritza Ranga-Butraga lead all the way for Colombia. 2 laps left in this, by the way, and then suddenly Elena Pautova, who was behind all the time, you were certainly aware she was there, then just slipped out, moved her lane, came across to win.
And very much like with the last race, where we saw the girl, just the Russian Elena Pautova, just hanging behind the Colombians. That's what's happening here, because the Colombians are the 3rd fastest in the race. The 2 girls behind both have gone under 5 minutes. The Spaniard, Elena Congost Mohdano, has run 4:42.90, and Meryem En Nouri 4:50.94. And now we are seeing that she's just tucking in behind those 2, and you'd expect those 2 girls, the 2 running without guides, to come round at some point past the Colombians, very much like we saw in the last race, almost using the Colombian guide as their guide, and perhaps with the windy conditions using them as a shield, and you'd expect those 2 to come past, and then the Colombians may well not qualify, because it's the first 2 in each heat and the next 2 that advance to the final.
We've got 500 meters to go, and it could be very much the case that the Colombian here, Maria Torres Aldana, the other 2 might be setting her up for a fall here. Elena Congost Mohdano of Spain and Meryem El Nouri of Morocco. Little gap back as they take the bell down to 4th place, and Sumaya Özkan of Turkey, who was quite a bit back for a while, but now the gap between the top 3 and the Turkish athlete has just slipped back to around maybe 20-30 meters again, which means that the top 3 have really slowed up. They're taking a sedate pace, but remember, there's 3 up here and it's only the top 2 who qualify.
You're absolutely right. The Turkish pair in 4th place have caught up, and I wonder whether they're too far back now to do anything, but the 2 elite runners are now breaking away. Congost Mohdano and En Nouri of Morocco will now breaking away from the Colombians, and I just wonder whether the Turkish pair will be able to catch up with the Colombians.
The expected move has happened, and Elena Congost Mohdano of Spain and Meryem El Nouri of Morocco pulled away ahead of the Colombian athlete Maria Torres Aldana. And they stayed behind, and they stayed behind very comfortably, and then with around 250 meters to go, they made the move, and it's these 2 who qualify for the final now, and we'll see which of them is bothered to get the win. It's the Spaniard Congost Mohdano who's taking it out. El Nouri is second, and El Nouri just slows up, lets Elena Congost Mohdano take the victory. El Nouri is in 2nd place, 5:06.66, which is quicker than the first semi-final. I think Torres Aldana will make it also, so that knocks Amanda Crotty out. And for Turkey, Sumaya Özkan is in 4th place. There's a chance that they could all make it, by the way. 5:06.64 is the official winning time for Elena Congost Mohdano, silver medalist in Christchurch 2 years ago in the last World Championships and in London 2012. They both made the move at the right time. Really, it was telegraphed. I think it was quite obvious what they were going to do. And Congost Mohdano of Spain and Meryem El Nouri of Morocco, without the guides, both shot away. And the victory goes to the Spanish athlete, 5:06, El Nouri 3rd and Torres Aldana.
And a perfect example there of the McFadden effect, which I've invented this morning, which is to win a race when you don't really have to. Because we saw the Spaniard and the Moroccan coming away. The Spaniard sprints away, and just watch the Moroccan in 2nd place here. She turns, looks over her shoulder, and there it is, and then just starts slowing down. Says, you know what, I'm not going to go for the McFadden effect. I do not need to tire myself out. I'll save myself for the final, and she slows right down.
It is a race at the end of the day, semi-final or not. You can see in the background the large inflatable for the park alongside, which has been set up by the Lyon Council. So it's the top 3 who qualify. Ozcan didn't make it. Congas Mohdano wins it 5:06.64. El Nouri didn't want the win. She takes second. Now, Maria Fernandez in the women's long jump. It's her 3rd attempt, and she's got a long way out here. Now, she was down in 6th place with 3:96, and that is a major improvement for Fernandez. And the emotions are coming out because she's now in the medal. She's gone 3rd, up to 4:27. It's a new personal best, and it was into a strong headwind as well as -2.
To see her face, you would think something very bad has happened, but something brilliant has happened to her.
Anais Yaron, tears for her as well, and the reason why is because this 3:88, she needed another few centimeters and she hasn't got them, and she is 9th and she is out, and I think she knew instantly 3:91 was her best, and there was only 4 centimeters between her 3 jumps, but she needed a little bit more, needed to go beyond 4 meters.
And look how many people are now leaving the sandpit, people that were gathered to watch that, supporting the French girl. It's a bit like in a football match when people start leaving and the fans start singing, "Is there a fire drill?"
So Goncharova leads, Torstein Dottir just got there, Jameson bowing out, and we have a medal ceremony on the way.
You may recognise one of these.
Bronze medalist representing Finland.
Médaille de bronze représentant la Finlande, Amanda Kotaja.
Now they're doing this in the wrong order because it's a British athlete who is the bronze, and it's not Kotaja who gets the...
It's Georgina Oliver that's going up actually to get the bronze. The Finnish girls actually got the silver, and they're having a bit of a laugh amongst themselves there because they announced the Finnish athlete had got the bronze and she knew she got the silver, and so they had a bit of a conflab and then decided, yeah, I know it's my name, but you go up. Now I wonder whose name they'll announce here. If they announce Georgina Oliver for the silver, the Finnish girl will go up. But that is Georgina Oliver. She did get the bronze. But what will they announce now, I wonder?
I think the announcers have realised, so there's a little gap.
Silver medalist representing Finland.
Yep. So Amanda gets her name called twice and Georgina doesn't get a called at all.
Now, speaking as a stadium announcer myself, that will have been a difficult decision for them because they'll have realised they made a mistake, and then they thought, do we make another mistake so that Georgina gets her name heard out, or do we announce Amanda twice and not make a mistake this time? And they went for announcing Amanda twice. They've been excellent here. That's the first mistake I've heard them make. I was working with them yesterday, doing the announcing on the media race, won by Britain's 5 Live.
Well, there's no 10,000 metres, which means for T54s there are 6 events on the track. Tatjana McFadden has competed in 5 so far and has won all 5, and she's also won the 400 metres semi-final. The final of that is upcoming. She's not competing in the marathon. She's confirmed that to us in the last hour. And this is a record-breaking 5th gold medal for Tatjana McFadden, and she's not content with that because she wants a 6th. Probably wise actually not to do the marathon because she's won everything else.
For the national anthem of the United States of America.
Mesdames et messieurs, merci de vous lever si vous le pouvez pour l'hymne national des États-Unis d'Amérique.
The national anthem of the United States of McFadden. can vouch as well, personally. She's a lovely woman. As both myself and the voice of God in our ears, Manu, we've both individually spoken to her earlier today, which is not always easy when you're right up in the back of a stadium grandstand doing commentary all day. Katasha gets the silver, her second medal of the week, to go with her bronze. And British bronze here. So McFadden now has 5 gold medals, and there's only one more she's going for. And you know what? I think that's enough.
Yep, you don't want to be greedy.
But Hannah, her sister, is quite a bit younger than her. Still in her teens. I think she's 18 or 19, just from memory. And I mean, she's getting better all the time. And just imagine when Ruthie comes along. Not just an American clean sweep we could have in some events, we could have a McFadden clean sweep. Hannah, by the way, is 17 years old. Her time will come, and Iceland's time is coming now.
Now, I wonder what their anthem's like. I'm not sure I could recognise it.
Well, they did win gold in swimming through Jon Margar Sverrisson in the 200 freestyle at London 2012, and was the only gold medal that they won. And now they're a really good athletics nation, but they don't always get the medals. This in the javelin, and at various stages towards the end, all 3 of these athletes individually held the lead. This is Rune Steinstad of Norway. Personal best 49.81. It really fluctuated. I think he led going into the final round. The penultimate round, and the man who finished second overtook him. So Steinstad gets the bronze for Norway. Then the lead was taken by Fu Yanlong of China. And then suddenly, with his final throw, and he was the 3rd last to throw, so there was still a chance of him being overtaken. It's a championship record of 50 meters 98, and it is the greatest moment of his career. Helgi Sveinsson wins gold for Iceland. So Iceland won 1 gold in the swimming, 1 completely throughout all sports at London 2012. That was in swimming, and now in the IPC Athletics World Championships. They have their moment. And like swimmers from Iceland, like swimmers from Israel, you don't see many athletes from Iceland finish top of the pile.
Let's see what's happening in the high jump. We've got the long jump over on the far side. for the women. We've had the javelin, we've now got the high jump, and that's the leading jumper at the moment. Ihar Fartanau of Belarus. His second attempt at 190, and he's clear there.
So Fartanov is the leader, 190 at the second attempt. And he is the reigning world champion. That an event that we've missed out on in the last 3 Paralympic Games. This the women's long jump T12, and this was, I know we say it a lot, but this was another incredible event. Martinez Puntero getting the bronze for Spain, 5.60.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to go back to some high jump as it's reaching its conclusion. Just 3 athletes left in at the moment. Fartanau and Gunter have cleared 190. Kaitasenko of Ukraine has failed with his first.
Linda Hamri with an African record out of Algeria, 571. Personal best, a national record, and a continental record as well. And she gets the silver medal. But 80 centimeters ahead of the rest. The championship record of 6:51 for Oksana Subkovska. It was an impressive margin of victory in an impressive week for Ukraine. So it's their 11th gold medal of the week, and their latest success comes in the women's long jump for Oksana Subkovska. So it's very close to the world record too. Getting used to hearing this piece of music. And the extra final flourish of it as well, which has sometimes been faded out here. But not this time, and you can't fade Ukraine. Their star continues to rise.
So in that high jump, Fartanau of Belarus and Gunter of the United States have cleared 190, and the Ukrainian he's not going to take his third jump, so did not finish, so he will finish in the bronze medal position. He did jump a season's best 187. He had 2 jumps to try and get over 190, failed in them both, and he's not, we hear, taking his third jump, so he will remain in bronze position, and it's going to be a straight jump off between Fartanau of Belarus and Gunter of the United States.
Now we're going to have an extra medal ceremony. That was unscheduled because we had an unscheduled race at the start of today. It's the men's 200 meters T51. A rerun after yesterday's result was declared null and void, and there was a disqualification and a rerun. And the man who won the original race and was affected most by the interaction of the disqualified athlete from Algeria. Now, he still won that race yesterday, despite him being affected the most, but the race was still rerun out of fair play, and he didn't win. Would have been a sprint double for him. It was bronze for Italy and Alves Davide, who finished 4th yesterday. Would have been 3rd after the disqualification. Silver for the original winner yesterday.
Représentant la Finlande, Toni Pispanen.
Toni Pispanen of Finland. It's the silver, having won the gold in the 100 meters. And for a couple of hours, he had the sprint double. And he has his 2nd medal of the week.
Now, when the Mexican comes, here he is. I have asked Octavio from the Mexican delegation to come and sing the anthem. Unfortunately, he says he would like to stay in the stands and sing it with his friends, but he might pop up.
You can hear him. There he is in the background. Edgar Navarro of Mexico wins. It's his 3rd major championship at 200 meters. Gold, Athens 2004. Gold, London 2012. And gold in Lyon. He finished 3rd in the original final. It's a championship record 40.68. Listen carefully, you'll hear our friend singing his own national anthem of Mexico.
Pour l'hymne national du Mexique.
There he is, the voice of the games. Octavio's head of the Mexican delegation. And they have another medal, 8 medals in total, 4 of those gold.
So let's go back to this high jump. It's a fascinating competition. This is the American Tyson Gunter. And neither of them have cleared it yet. That was his first attempt at 193. Ihar Fartinow of Belarus also failed with his first attempt, and the Ukrainian Ivan Yitsenko did not take his 3rd jump at 190, so he finishes in the bronze position. Now I see Will doing a bit of counting back. Who would get the gold if they all missed out here on countback?
Well, what would happen, first of all, it would be a dead heat, because they both had a failure at 187 and a failure at 190. And Gunter missing his first attempt. So if they both miss this one, then basically they would have an opportunity of going back to 190 and basically having a jump off. Now let's take a look at Fartinow here, and he's clear over his 2nd attempt of 193, and he takes the lead, and Gunter has to match that now at the next attempt. It's not unprecedented, by the way, for the gold medal to be shared if it's decided that if both athletes agree that they're both tired. So this must, from Gunter, be cleared if he's to have a share of the gold again. And I think he's, oh, no, he broke the arc, so that counts as a red flag. And that is his 2nd failure at 193. He just went too close in. broke the arc.
And he's thinking that's a bit harsh, but he does know the rules. He puffed out his cheeks like, oh, I tried to pull out, but you didn't, and he went into the arc. So he's only got one to go.
Now there is a line just in front, and if you break that and you don't clear, then it counts as a foul.
He's a T13 athlete, so it is a problem with their eyesight, so it's much harder than it would be if you had perfect vision.
So important in two factors here. He has to clear this to still have a chance of the gold, and if he doesn't, then the gold would go to Fartenau. Last chance saloon, and that's it. Fartenau has done it again and reclaims the gold medal. He cleared 1m93, that's all he needed to do. World record is over 2 meters, but Fartenau retains his world title. It's not been competed for at the Paralympic Games since 2000, when the categories were all different. But he gave it a good go, Tyson Gunter, and it is silver for him. 3 attempts at 193. The first he brushed off with his calf, and the second attempt he crossed the line without making an attempt, and the third also going down. So that's it. Fartenau gets the gold for Belarus, Gunter the silver for the USA, and Kitsenko, who did not finish, which suggests an injury, he gets the bronze.
And I think Fartenau has said that he's not going to jump again. I don't think he wants to see if he can clear 196, because I saw him have a word with some of the officials and they appear to be packing up. I think I've read that right.
So Fartenau gets the gold medal. Igor Fartenau, personal best, 193. Tyson Gunter second for the USA, and Ivan Kitsenko third for the Ukraine. Belarusian and Ukrainian Cyrillic is being reinterpreted these days, but it is Igor, and he has won. There's one event left, and that's the long jump, and it's all ends here. Margarita Goncharova of Russia is in the lead, and this is a 4th round attempt, and we'll stay with this as long as we can.
Look how she arches her back there before she sets off.
And that's around 450, and if that's the case, that's very high up with her best mark, which is 458. The high jump, by the way, is over. Fartenau's decided he's not going to jump again, and he's just going to take the gold medal and head for the hills. Goncharova, excellent technique, keeping supple. You saw at the start, used the board well. Good distribution from there. 420 in the 3rd round was the lowest distance she's achieved so far. Good technique from the Russian, and that's 446. You'll see consistency again from her. She wanted to go further, but it's -4 headwind she's jumping into now, and that is the strongest wind that anybody's had to contend with so far. So it is getting stronger, which for the organisers is very good for the afternoon, because due to hit 40 Celsius otherwise. Goncharova leading. Ado Maitiene of Lithuania second, Fernandez third for Portugal, and Ippolito of Brazil. A gold and silver in the sprints, and she is 4th here. Well, Heather Jameson made it in 8th place ultimately, so she still has 2 more jumps, but 387 in the 1st round, and the next 3 have been fouls. So she's been getting it wrong on the jumping board, and the technique, maybe the conclusion of the run-up, not just right. See what you think yourself. Seemed to use the board okay. It's around 4 meters again, but she would need an improvement to overtake Torsteinsdottir. It is a white flag. We would basically be having to sit over on the far side where the coaches are, which I can tell you at a major athletics championship, if you ever have a lull, if you ever have the chance, is a very good place to sit and watch this event, get the perfect angle for it. Use the board perfectly there, which I can only surmise she's been attempting to do, and has just been getting it slightly wrong. She's been going into the plasticine each time, but she hit the board perfectly there. 370. And that actually puts her up into 7th place on countback, because Torsteinsdottir has also cleared 387, but his second jump is only 360.
So wherever you're watching in the world, the two that didn't quite make it were Anaïs Yaron of France, who we saw distraught, and Wally Meyer were the ones that just missed out ahead of Santos of Brazil, Benson of Namibia, and Jasinka of Poland.
That's a surprise. Benson's been doing very well in the sprints as well, and good sprinters normally make good jumpers because you get good speed on the runway.
So there's 8 left in. We've seen Heather Jameson. The order of jumping will be this lady next, Torstein Dottur of Iceland. Now, will she be inspired by hearing her anthem just a few moments ago with a gold medal? Also, Hipólito of Brazil will jump next, Bahi of Tunisia, then it will be Langner of Poland, Fernandez of Portugal in bronze at the moment, Ado Maitien of Lithuania, currently in silver, and that brilliant sprinter and long jumper Margarita Goncharova of Russia, currently in the gold medal position, where I would expect her to stay. So just these 8 left in now. They will have 6 jumps, the rest just had 3. That was the cut-off point.
Well, in terms of Iceland and international athletics, they have never won a medal at an IAAF World Championships at all, of any colour, not even a bronze. So for them to get glory here.
Well, she's done well to get into the last 8, along with Heather Jameson, 381, so that wasn't an improvement on her opening jump of 387. Now, this lady we've seen in sprint action on the track, looking very impressive. This is the cerebral palsy class, T37, T38. Veronica Hipólito of Brazil, with her 5th jump. Her best so far, 4:13, which is 857 points, because she is an F38 competitor, and there are also F37s, who will be the 2 that follow her. Here she goes then, Veronica Hipólito. As you'd expect from a sprinter, gets good speed up on the jump, but she slowed down because I think she just needed to adjust her feet to make sure she didn't do a no jump on the board. She was building up a good head of steam and then just seemed to slow down before she jumped.
I can tell you, by the way, the women's shot put from earlier this morning was won by Birgit Kober of Germany. Mina of China won the women's discus. Vladimir Sviridov of Russia, the men's shot put. You've seen Fartanov of Belarus win the men's high jump in the past few minutes. And Edgar Navarro, you'll have also seen pick up his gold medal from earlier this morning, the men's 200 T51 from Mexico. And so this is the last event.
By the way she landed, I think you could tell she wasn't very happy. She sat down and she opened her palms upwards as if to say, why did I do that? I had a bit of speed and then I wasn't going to hit the board quite right. I had to slow down.
20 centimetres would put her into 3rd. That was 391. 4:13 is a decent platform from which to begin, but she'll have wanted to improve on that from now. She's a 4:17 jumper, so that was very close to her lifetime best. Her lifetime best coming this year. All she needs to improve is 20 centimetres, which may not sound like much, and it isn't much, but when you're, there were a lot of people aiming for the 890 for a long time of Bob Beamon. It's only been broken once. And that was 22 years ago.
You can see just in that shot there, the little markers that the girls put down, which is where they start. And Hipólito might move hers just a little bit back here. So this is Bahi of Tunisia, currently in 5th place. Her best jump so far, 4:07. If she can add 3 centimetres to that, she'll be level with the girl in 4th. And if she can jump another 21, she will be in bronze position. But I don't think she has. So Veronica Hipólito, who we saw before, she'll just move her marker back a little way now. Just see the speed she goes at here. Yes, she's got her speed up just right. She didn't have to slow down at all to adjust. But I don't think she's improved. That's 4:06, so it's not as good as her 4:07, just outside, which is her season's best. But she's jumped very consistently, always around the 4-metre mark.
Around 10 centimetres between all her jumps so far. That's 4:18. That's 4:18, and that moves her up into 4th place. And that's a new season's best for Neda Bahi, who won gold in the 400 London last year, and is now very close to the medals here. She's only 9 centimetres away. She's actually only 1 point away. Worth pointing out, it is a dual category event and decided on points. Langner then has dropped to 5th for Poland with her 4 meters 10. Now, if she can do 4.19, which would be a centimetre further than Bahi, I actually think she might be able to go up into 3rd place, because you get the points, get the distance to beat Bahi, but the points to go past Maria Fernandez of Portugal. We'll try and bring you as much of this as possible, but satellite time goes off in 5 minutes, so I think that will be it. And we shan't get a chance to see the final round. But we'll stay with this as long as we can. Langner in 5th place. .433 her lifetime best, 4:24 her personal best. Both would help here. It's a good leap, but it's a red flag, so it wasn't a good takeoff. And you'll have seen their restriction on her right arm.
It's a foul, so we've just got the leaders to go now. We'll be back at 3:30 this afternoon with all the action. If you do tune in and find that we're not here, it will be because it's got too hot to compete. There was worry about that earlier. I think we're going to be all right, you know, because I think there's a nice enough breeze here. But there's just been a slight doubt over this afternoon's activities, and there may be delays and they have to push things back later into the evening. But hopefully we're all right. We'll have a look at Maria Fernandez before we do go. She's in bronze at the moment. She has 2 jumps left, and she's 4:27, her personal best. And you can see the flag in front. She is jumping directly into this wind. Quite a strong wind blowing now.
So 4:27, personal best from Fernandez. Has not been overtaken. Langner with that foul. Goncharova so far in front in terms of points and distance by 13 centimetres. Adomaitiene will seriously have to improve with her final 2 jumps. This the penultimate leap of Maria Fernandez of Portugal. 4:27 so far. It was impressive. She beat her personal best by 7 centimetres, her season's best by 20. That's around 4:50, but it's a red flag, and there was a good reason why it was around 4:50, as she broke the plasticine, and that is a foul. There will be time to see the penultimate jumps of the leading 2, but that shall be it. The crowd is still remaining over on the far side, which is gratifying to see. So here's how the standings are. Goncharova leads, 4:58. Adomaitiene second with 4:45, and Fernandez third, 4:27. And the reason Langner is above Ippolito is because they are different categories, and we are going on points and not distance.
And the wind getting up so that the monitor up here is actually rocking now on the table.
So let's take a look at the medal standings. There was a Russian gold this morning for Vladimir Sverdlov in the men's shot put F56. It's their 16th gold of the Games. United States with their 12 gold medals and a great chance of more with Raymond Martin and Tatiana McFadden later. Brazil, Great Britain, Ukraine received more this morning, and Algeria. Ireland with 4 gold medals, 2 each for McKillop and Smith. Tunisia claiming their 7th. Poland with a great total of 19 medals as well, 7 of them gold. And we have 1.5 days of track competition remaining. France, the hosts, 9 medals, 3 of them gold. Mandy with 2 golds, Lefeur with 2 silver. So that's it from the morning session here. We'll update you later how things went to the women's long jump, but we have 20 gold medals to be decided in the afternoon session. That should be underway, 15:30 Central European Time, 13:30 GMT. If it's not too hot, we'll let you know. Until then, au revoir.
See you then, bye-bye.
Est-ce qu'il y a eu quelque chose?
L'enjeu du mois, 21h19 pour la Fédération de Russie dans le cercle de pourcent 5e essai. Donc, la Fédération 55 est placée par Paralympic. La deuxième fédération. Le lancer du mois, 11 mètres 77 à son 5e essai pour Lyon, et 10 cercles de la Fédération de la touche. Il a été à 2 ans aujourd'hui, il est 7e du concours avec 11 mètres 02. 28 mètres 24 pour le Gilles Cornier et la France de son élément. Dans quelques minutes, F56.
Manager, pega na malha. Manager, başla cima koş. Manager.
Sur les longueurs du tour la plus marquée, 36 à l'écran, nouveau champion du monde de la spécialité. Il a également remporté en 2014 cette 70e génération de Russie. Jean-Noël, victoire opposée à